So I mean, yeah, this is gonna definitely add a lot more like shadowy
Remember,
play
you are doing mistakes.
to the game that it's never
It's
been.
literally your connection. I don't know how much
Cyber terrorism in Dallas.
Let's not let any kind of fantasies happen here.
I watched all of the new X-Files episodes.
Don't talk about them. If you buy a shit ton of this and then rat out the person or something, you're gonna lose your shit ton of this. Welcome. How's everybody doing? This is the Open Comp Show. It is a Thursday night. How's everybody doing? As what says, it's the Open Comps time. That's right. We're gathered here tonight on this glorious night of events with Dirk McGurk. How you doing, Dirk?
Yo, what's up? Such high hopes they come into this with.
They do. They come in. Drayden would be here. I don't know what the fuck he's doing.
He's probably making ramen or something.
We got Rain. How you doing, Rain?
I'm good.
Now, Rain is playing Ark. Now, when you first walked up to that big stone behemoth dinosaur gate, and when it opened, did you not expect to hear the Jurassic Park soundtrack?
No, what? No.
What? Remember the Jurassic?
Game. There was no gate. You had to build a gate, and instead of building gates, I tried to tame a baby penguin, and it died in my dragon's arms, and it was really tragic. I just don't want to talk about it.
You tried to tame a baby penguin.
Yeah, I tamed a baby penguin. It was really cute.
We got Paul Sullivan, Drunken Canadian. How you doing?
What's going on?
And of course, we have the Boats coming back a second week in a row, man. We must be doing something special.
Hello.
How you doing, Boat?
Very tired.
Rough week?
Yeah, Jim's been killing me.
That's right, working out. I do have Grant's picture up. He's not here with us yet, I don't believe.
Yeah, he is supposed to be here, but I don't know.
Probably too busy over on that other fucking show. Fuck PL. Fucking
PL guys.
Probably over there on Jeff Rader's piece of shit. Shit, I'm just kidding. I love Jeff Rader.
BC, BC, have you ever been to an Eve meet?
I have not.
So when PL gets a group picture taken together, they all yell Jeff Rader. Instead of saying cheese or like a countdown, they just go Jeff Rader.
Wow.
That's kind of like yelling cheese, though, isn't it?
It's kind of, yeah, kind of.
We also are joined by that guy, ExoKiz. How you doing?
I'm good. You sound just like Hilmar. He forgot my name at FanFest too.
Yeah, but it's different. Hilmar could give a fuck. Riker 196. Thanks for obeying Hypno Kitty for 3 months in a row now. Oh, look, Drayden's finally joined us. How you doing, Drayden?
Yo,
Where'd you go, man?
liquor store.
Again? You went
I
there
called
last
it.
week before the show. What the hell?
He's living
I
the
told you
party
that's what he was
lifestyle.
doing.
Let's give us some waves. What do we got on the channel? Give us some waves to people that are listening. We got
This is how you-
LGXX
this is how you lose
Gralfred
jump
Griffin,
raiders.
Morgan Starkiller, who is a longtime listener from Eve Radio.
That's all I had left, so I had to get
We
more.
got Marsha Malo. That's a tough one. 'Cause you just wanna-
Marshmallow?
Marsh-
Like a marshmallow?
You just want to say marshmallow, but they make you not. Got Buck Schreider,
Mellow
Eric
or
Smock.
Malo?
Eric, I bought one big bottle.
Oh,
Because number one,
people.
there's just no point buying a smaller bottle, and this one was on sale, so it was like a double benefit.
Apparently they want Bo to put the hat on.
They want Bo to put the hat.
Does it work? So?
Nope.
Everyone's
Nope.
saying hi.
Nope.
Hi, team.
Bo only
No
does
hat
that on the
today.
boat show and sometimes on the meta show.
Oh, Lieutenant Dan, thanks for subscribing for 9 months in a row.
Bo, are you hosting the meta show now? I saw you were on it
Uh,
last time.
As far as I know, no.
He hosts the
And
Meta Boat Show.
That actually came up in a meeting we had yesterday, wondering where Les was. So I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with that. Doesn't matter to me because everyone likes to throw money at the meta show, so I get that. So
Nice.
I could complain. They always throw money at Mittens, and Mittens just gives it to me.
So we got some stuff to talk about. Everybody's probably brought something to the table. It's always nice if somebody brings something to the table.
We're
But
supposed to bring stuff?
what potluck, man?
It's like a
God
potluck
damn
show.
it. Please tell me you didn't bring your stupid ass egg salad again.
This is like going to the bar after work. What everybody do at work today?
Yeah, exactly.
My food.
I'm always that guy that's like, all right, barbecue, what'd you bring? chips and a thing of soda. Where's the
Dude,
beer at?
It's simple. I like it.
I almost convulsed today. It was really bad.
I want Isk paid him to not show to the Meta show.
Well, they are sponsored him. They are 30 billion.
he is
a
sponsored.
month. Yeah. So
I mean, who's not sponsored? I mean, technically we aren't yet, but we will be.
Yeah, he's been sponsored for almost a month now.
Um,
Maybe longer.
I thought Laz
wish I
was
was
sponsored for
sponsored.
longer than that.
Maybe-
I'm not sponsored
maybe they
today,
pulled his
yeah,
puppet
this
string.
one's-
Laz is a lucky guy. PL gave him an alliance tournament ship.
nice. I'm hearing all these people get sponsored. I got to be honest.
Yeah, we need 2 Alliance tournament
I
ships.
think we've been. I think we might have been overvalued, Dirk. Given what I know that we're going to be sponsored at, hearing what other people are being
Hey.
sponsored at.
I mean, I ain't getting sponsored. They no one said to me Isk.
I
Um,
can tell you right now, ain't nobody sponsoring us until I see a goddamn check.
oh, for sure,
clear the bank.
exactly. No, we're going to be getting our sponsorship through Evil at Work once they get their casino up and running. I'm not too worried about it. Like I said, it's not a big, huge deal to me. The whole sponsorship thing. I like it. Just again, for us, it's just simply just giving shit back to the viewers. That's all I care about. Giving us a substantial amount of cash is to say here, let's give away some cool shit. Because I like to play the deal or no deal game. You've seen that, right, Boot? You've seen the deal or no deal we play, right? Yeah, it's basically deal or no deal. And, you know, typically we do anywhere from 3 to 5 billion as the top prize. Yes, I talk to Evil at Work guy pretty much every couple of days.
Brad can apparently not save the.
So, I mean,
Throw it. If the halfway point's like a handful of billions.
As many times as that motherfucker's been on here.
Is he in chat or?
I got him.
Okay.
But my goal with going with getting sponsored is that we can offer a big substantial enough prize, say maybe a 10 or 15, maybe even 20 billion isk top prize, that it actually is something that when the dealer comes back and says, here's your offer of 6 billion isk, will you take it? And they're like, maybe. Because now it's like, oh, the offer is 1.5 billion, but you could win 5. They're like, man, let's just keep going.
Yeah, they're like, 3 billion. Nah, I'm good. I
3
don't
billion's
I
nothing.
just want to try for the top prize. But
Yeah, so, I mean-
throw it. If the halfway point's like a handful of billions, I'll be like,
Yeah, so that's what I'm hoping to do. That way, the people really got to stop and think and go, that is a substantial amount of money. I might actually consider stopping and taking it, as opposed to just let's keep going, man, all the way.
Let it ride.
Okay,
Never not
so
let it ride.
Avatar says, learn to groom your beards better, and you might get sponsorships. Dude, who grooms their beard?
Who has a beard?
I do.
Beards.
I
think
don't
it's
I
know.
don't
I
have
don't
a
know.
beard.
the
Oh,
profiles.
sorry, big country. Sorry. my girlfriend wants me to have a beard. I refuse to. Like, I've been fighting it.
I've been lazy. I haven't even shaved in like 6 days. I just decided not to shave this week. Fuck
Is
it.
that what that shadow is on your face?
Yeah, that's actually like that's a.
Well,
5
see,
o'clock
I
shadow
assume
for
when you
everyone
say
else. For me,
beard,
that's like a week's
But
of
when you
growth.
say your girlfriend wants you to grow a beard, she means like facial hair, not
No,
a creature
she means,
living on
like-
her chin.
Oh yeah, right. She means like a good 2 inches of face. You know, like a
Oh.
good going on beard. You know. I can't stand the hair. It just drives me nuts. I like having a baby face. It's so comfortable.
Oh my god, dude. I should do that one day. I mean, if you saw me with no beard, you'd literally be like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah, my brother's beard was about as long as yours, and when he shaved it, like the whole thing, like he had it over the whole face, his face was a different color, like a different shade, because he had it for so long. It was pretty funny.
But the last time I truly shaved all my face off, my mom was still alive. So that would have been about 7 years ago. And she had a parrot. And the parrot knew me, right? But I came over without my any face hair at all, and like literally got attacked for the first 15 minutes I was there. They had no
Oh.
fucking clue who I was.
But
That's
Riker
really
says
funny.
you should grow a handlebar mustache. I kind of agree with that.
That would be
Oh,
sexy.
fuck no.
Yeah, you can do.
Just
Beard
told the
skin.
people in Twitch chat there's gonna be an early shot and to just prep it. So you know you got a 5-minute prep time on that. But yeah, carry on.
Okay, so we're talking about all this stuff. We're talking about, boats. I mean, boat, if you want to be sponsored, you can be sponsored. It's not like you don't. I mean, it's not like there's not the option. You just are choosing not to.
Well, I1S will never sponsor me because Iron Bank can't stand me. I mean, he's the guy that told me to kill myself a while back. So, I mean, I would actually be surprised if I1S ever offered me money to stream, you know? But yeah, I've never been approached by anyone, any external thing. I think the only sponsorship I ever got was this cool blue microphone.
Look,
I think it's because everybody knows you're rich.
I want to segue this, and this
Price
is
is
going
gonna be
to, I
high.
think, over the night branch off into several different things. But look, when we started doing, I'm going to say right now, I would put it out there, and if anybody could actually go back and find this out, I would love to see it. As far as Eve content itself goes, maybe not fighting, I'm going to say that this show is one of the first shows out there to actually put Eve content onto Twitch. We started doing this like 2.5, almost 3 years ago, putting video up.
You don't mean like Eve content in total? I mean, because there were people doing like actual,
I'm saying back then, I don't think
shippy stuff.
there wasn't a lot. There was very, I don't remember hardly seeing any when I would go look for Twitch stuff back in the forever days ago, when we were on radio and we said, hey, let's start doing video. But anyways, the point I'm making is, so times have changed. We're starting to see more now. I've heard people say it's not a competition, that it's not right to try to go and try to pull numbers from other people that are streaming. But I'm going to say this. Yeah, it is. I mean, it is getting to that. When you have a finite amount of viewers, to where, let's say there's 1,200 people watching Eve's content right now, split up over how many ever there are people that are viewing. As the Eve content provider, you want to be number one. I mean, you want
Not
to.
everyone wants to be number one.
How would you not want to be number one?
Some people don't care about the numbers.
Some don't, but I can tell you right now that there are a couple of, I guess, bigger streamers that really take their numbers as more important than anything, to the point where these people have like stopped working to do, streaming, and use this as a source of income, right? So numbers are a big deal. I know there was one guy, I forget the dude's name, maybe it was Iron Bank. He got really upset when I went live and ended up having like 800-900 people watching one day. And his numbers had dropped by like 300-400. And everyone that came over were like, yeah, Iron Bank was getting bored. I was just there to win money. I was just there to take the money from him because he was giving away lots of free stuff. But it was actually boring overall. And so when you get things like that, I think the numbers do matter, because to do giveaways, the more people you have, the more money you're going to make the giveaways, more valuable, I guess. And so, yeah, there's a lot of people fighting for it. Because like Eve streaming, there's only so many people going to watch Eve, right? I think the most I've ever seen on Eve stream was 10,000. And that was Vegas, right?
Judas Priestley says, had to choose between Taladar, Eve History, and Open Comms. You see, you can pop over to Taladar's channel real quick and tell him we need to play our wild card game against each other in our Madden season. So everybody's waiting on us.
Tell him that now that I'm in PL, his show needs to get bumped to a different time.
No, Taladar's a nice person, but no, like
He
it's
is a
not-
nice person.
Like a
He's
lot of
got
people
the
don't
best-
care
voice in
about,
Eve.
like the numbers. A lot of people don't care about making money. People do
Right.
it for fun. Like Opa's, I have someone point out Opa's even partnered, and he doesn't take donations. He doesn't do anything. He makes money off a website. And Twitch doesn't really do it for him.
I'm about to be mad rich, yo.
Why is that?
The item that I got rich off of is called Guidance Systems, and the price just jumped 15K a unit.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, numbers were not, were never anything that we that we cared about. I mean, they were never anything that we cared about. But that being said, as we did actually start to garner some listeners, and especially on Twitch, because when we were on Eve Radio, when we were splitting between the people that were just listening to kind of the audio segment of it, while we had, at first 10, then 20, then 30, then 40, then 50, viewers on the Twitch side of it. You start hitting those points where it's like, well, geez, I would hate to go back to below that, because that would seem to indicate that you were doing something like, well, in our
Be a
case,
regression, yeah.
in our case, wronger or something.
Wronger.
More wrong.
Where's your fucking Nazism now there, Rain?
No, because I mean I don't know. I guess
Because you
it's
didn't put a
actually
comma in the
like-
wrong place in the tweet, but he can say wronger.
Yeah, but she knows I'm using that, for effect, as opposed to, just walking around going, man, that's wronger.
Yeah, like I don't know.
Guess you're implying there's like a right amount of wrong that makes the show good.
There is certainly a level of that. Yes, there is certainly a level.
I'm just saying again and again. My point I'm taking is, for most streams, I'll tell you right now, I want all the people watching Eve stuff to watch us right now. I know they won't because maybe they've tuned into the show before and they don't like it, or there's something else that they prefer. That's fine. Or they don't want to watch a talk show. They want to watch somebody run around and kill stuff. That's totally fine. But I want as many people watch as possible because not because I get anything from it, just because I like going out there and interacting with people, and I want more. To me, the more people, the better the conversations. I actually watch the chat channel, and see what people say. Yeah, for the most part. So I mean, that's always been something because again, that is one reason that we started doing this show on Eve Radio. There was a talk show on Eve Radio, kind of, but they really never. They would just sit there and talk to each other. They never really integrated the listeners into the show really too much. When people would talk and throw out comments in responses to what they're saying, they just basically just ignored them. And that was one of the things I said when we did the show. Is the number one thing that matters to this show is the audience, which is why it doesn't matter who's talking. If somebody in the audience brings up a legitimate question or a point, anybody's free to cut in and say, hey, by the way, in Twitch chat, this person is saying this. That's a legitimate point. Because again, for us, audience comes first for anybody on the show. I don't even care if it's fucking CCP Fozzie sitting here. I mean, it doesn't matter who. I mean, it's always been one of the staples of this show is we're here hanging out, and when we're doing this for the listeners. So obviously, the more listeners, the better.
Well, yeah, everybody would say it. No, nobody says the less the better.
Well, no, I mean, I'm talking about just for the content on the show. Some guy running around shooting people in low sec. The more viewers does not necessarily make his content better.
True.
But for us,
you're not gonna.
It's still the chat interaction. Like every time I PvP, I'm always talking to people.
Sure, I'm not saying that you're not, but that doesn't necessarily mean the content you're providing is better because you have more viewers. Whereas, like with a show like this, where they can actually participate in the show and talk and participate in the conversations, having more people will actually, potentially increase the content of the show.
See, I think of it like
PvP.
I don't care about the PvP or the PvE, or I could stream PvE and have just many viewers. I do it for the Howard Stern effect. People watch me to see what I'm going to say next. People that hate me watch me because they want to see what I'm going to say, right? So it's people like me, people that hate me watch. I actually probably have a 60-40 ratio. People that don't like me, 60%. People that like me, 40% to watch the show. And when you think about it like that, numbers, I mean, if I have 200 people or if I have 500 people, it's whoever's talking. It's like when I go to do a giveaway and I see that there's 150 people active compared to 300 active. That's what matters to me. I don't really care how many people watch. I mean, some people sit there quietly. I'd rather have them talk the whole time because it gives me something funny to joke about.
And that's one of the things. I mean, that's one of the things we had to do with the Eve Radio. I mean, they took a listener poll, not a couple of months before we ended up leaving, and our show was the highest responded to show in their polls, and we had just as many people say I fucking love this show, and we just say, man, I can't fucking stand this show, but they still listen. I mean, it's we get that. I mean, like you said, it's the Howard Stern thing of, you want to see where it goes. You want to see it fail for those people that hate it because they want to see the fail. Those people they want to see, take part in, the good conversations or whatever they do get from this kind of show.
Milk Guitar says we watch Boat because we're waiting for a wardrobe malfunction.
God.
Nip
Wait,
slips
what?
from Boat?
I don't even know how that's possible.
You'd be surprised.
Well,
You are going to the gym. You might
think
get some
about
angry
the hour.
flex.
Oh, I told you a couple months I'm going to be going on my show naked. So, but think
Svelte.
about it in a
The big
think
svelte
about
boat.
yeah. Think about how it works at this time of night, right? Think about Eve. So it's 0100 Eve. You're not going to have low sec PvP at this hour. Nobody does it. Nobody does. Like in US Prime, there just isn't much there. You have to take half an hour to an hour to find something this late at night. In Euro time, there's more. That's why you'll see more people PvP stream in Euro. But even now, fleet fights are almost extremely impossible to find at US Prime. So streaming content for PvP isn't very much at this hour. So they're either going to watch people talk, i.e. this show, or they're going to watch some other guy talk. And I think this show has more content than most shows. So
right
At
now
least
we
on
have
Fridays.
Laz and
It's all about
Christopher
talk.
Lau doing nullsec. We have Sutonia doing nullsec. We have, I think we have Bergseg down in low. We have Fintaru usually does low. So there's a lot of PvP going on.
Hold on. Now, I'm just going to say this. Just because somebody's streaming them running around low sec doesn't mean they're out there constantly getting getting into a bunch of fights.
I mean,
I've
totally,
watched
yeah.
watched these
Berserk,
people.
yeah.
Watched my stream recently?
I have
The
watched
fights
these.
are actually, I don't know, they're kind of, I don't want to say the least of it. Again, I don't give a shit what you're streaming. If people don't find you as the person, the streamer, right, entertaining, nothing you do on screen is, unless you're just really super good. Like, god damn, I can see why, man, he's just so good. And I don't think that there's really anything in Eve that kind of shows that. I mean, yes, you can be bad, but I don't know if there's anything that like you would see on the screen from a streamer doing PvP where it's like, wow, amazing, he just did a backflip. So I mean, it comes down to the streamer themselves being entertaining.
You've never seen Suetonia kill a Sweeple in a Kestrel?
Maybe.
Yeah, but
Do you
but
guys
that
actually
doesn't-
watch other PvP streamers?
Sure. But
I have. Hold on. I have watched them, and that's what I'm saying is I have sat and watched them for 30 minutes running around and not find a fight. I mean, I've
There's
seen.
that.
I
There's
mean,
only-
it happens. I'm not saying that.
There's only. Oh, here we go. There's only one person in all of Eve that I can actually enjoy watching stream, and I don't think he does it anymore. It's Mr. Hyde. Like that's the only person I can watch.
He's
do
very rare,
PvP.
yeah. But he'll stream.
Everyone else I look at, and I'm just like, that's terrible. You're bad.
Well, but so many
You're
people. I mean,
terrible.
you know,
You're bad.
what's his name left and went to CCP, didn't he?
Who?
Garmer.
Yeah, I didn't. But see, I didn't watch any of those. people,
Garmin?
Like,
Garmin was
Garmin.
permabanned.
I'm sorry.
He was permabanned for RMT.
Oh, did he?
right. The
Well,
guy that
and-
does that does the balancing at Eve now. I couldn't watch him. It made me cringe when I'd watch him do solo PvP. And now he does balancing of all the games. So it's like, that stuff's hard to watch. I don't.
I'm not saying that the fights themselves are boring. Okay, I mean, they're not. Okay, but in a lot of cases, it tends to be pretty short. Either it just tends to be pretty short. Now maybe somebody's good enough to where they don't die and they go on to the next fight and they go on to the next fight. But there are these kind of like up and down periods in it. They get killed, they got to go back and get another ship. And depending on where they're coming from and things like that, there's like this downtime. And that is where a streamer has to be entertaining.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. See, like I said, I could. There are times when I feel like I could literally stream a black screen, and I'd probably still have the same amount of people watching, because I'll make it as entertaining as. Like I had someone tell me that. I think it was the Matani. We were in Mexico, and he's like, "Bo, you could make pumping gas at a gas station the most entertaining job in the world if you were to do it for a living."
Now everybody's
Right, but-
picturing this, right? The Matanian boat laid out on lounge chairs on the back of the yacht, right? And the Matani looks over at him and says, "Man, boat, you're pretty freaking exciting on a
No,
stream."
it was at breakfast. I think it was like breakfast one morning because I'm a morning person, right? So I was all ready to go at like 8 a.m. and he's just like, crawling
So
out of
breakfast on the
the
yacht.
room. Yeah. So. But
Speaking of
I-
funny
I would
streamer
actually
stuff,
sound
though,
like fun.
I didn't know what swatting was until today. Do you
Did
guys
you
know what
get
that is?
swatted?
Why
Did
did
you
you
get
get swatted?
No,
Oh,
but
man.
somebody was talking about it, and I didn't even know what that was.
oh.
I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Wait,
Yeah,
do they
they
have
have
SWAT
checked
in
it out.
Canada? Would it be like mounting? Like,
Yeah,
did
Did
you
the
get
Mounties show up?
Mounting.
Like a horse comes and kicks my door down, and like,
They apologize.
Like,
What's
oh, what's happening?
They kicked the door down.
Hey,
We're
we're gonna
sorry a
break
bunch.
down your door, eh?
Yeah, no.
sorry about your door, eh?
So
Sorry, we didn't mean to intrude. Sorry.
So for swatting, I've called my local police department. I'm like, hey, just so you know, I play video games. I might get swatted, and so I gave them my name and address, and I didn't even have to explain it to them. They're like, oh yeah, we know what that is. Yeah, we've heard about that.
Yeah, but you
Like,
gotta be
it's a
careful with that
serious
too,
issue.
because there's been stories about where people have like famous streamers have called in and said, "Hey, if this happens, it's no big deal." But
If this happens, don't
then
respond.
if something really happens, you ain't
Well,
gonna get
there
nobody to
was
come
one
save your
girl.
ass.
There was one girl who was getting robbed by armed men on her stream, and like her viewers actually like contacted the people she was playing games with, and they like called 911 for her and everything. So the fact that she was streaming, she got, I think, helped her, but at the same time, like that would be absolutely horrifying. It wasn't
I ain't
like,
worried
a
about it.
swatting or anything.
I got
Well,
a big
the-
ass
the one I
dog and a nice
saw-
gun.
It's like they kicked in the door and Buddy's like panicking or whatever, and then as they're like arresting him, they kind of figured out that it's like obviously he doesn't have a bomb or whatever, and so the kid starts explaining to these cops, like I guess they didn't know what it was at the time, and he's like pointing at the camera, he's like, people are watching me, and the cops are like, well, who? And then like I guess the guy that called it in was like, ha, I got you, I called that in. And the cops like saw it, and then they like cybercrimed it or whatever, found the guy and got him.
There's a
Well,
16-year-old
probably the
kid who
most
has
famous one
25
in
years
Eve is the
prison.
Marquis Dragon one from, what was that, like a year ago or something?
Yeah, no,
I
that
think it
was
was a little
when YouTube
longer than
gaming
that.
came
That was
out.
back when Summerblink was still up and running. I
No,
thought.
no,
that
it was not.
Oh,
that
really?
was within the year, yeah, because I was
Oh, wow.
streaming then.
Yep, that was probably the most famous one. At least from Eve. I haven't heard of anything that was, probably more viewers at the time, or whatever.
I don't
in
know if
Eve
I've
of
heard
that
of
happening.
any Eve streamer getting swatted other than that one.
No, I haven't
mean,
either.
maybe
I
it's
don't know that I have
happened,
either.
I'm surprised. Like I'll be honest. I mean, as much as I've had to deal with Pandemic Horde, and just to call them out here, they are known to do real life attacks. I mean, they've made Twitch names with people's real name, not Twitch names, Twitter names with people's real names, like Scions, other people, and it's terrified me to the point where I've had to warn, people I live with, hey, something might happen, something might come in the mail. It's disgusting, or you might get a thing from these people. Just be careful, because it could
Yeah,
happen.
worse head in your bed.
That shit terrifies the people I'm with, because they're like, yeah, these people hate you. They're gonna find your ass and get you or something. I'm like, nah, it's no big deal. But yeah, the thing is, just it's scary, like how intertwined things can get with Twitch and real life.
But
Speaking of all the hate,
I'm
though,
gonna use this as just a quick break because somebody kind of said it there in channel hashtag Gorilla Lives Matter. So the first shot of the night, absolutely, goes out to my boy out at the Cincinnati Zoo.
Yeah, I thought it was Cleveland. It wasn't Cincinnati.
Or was it Cleveland or Cincinnati? I thought
that was
Cincinnati.
Ohio.
Cincinnati.
It was an
No,
Ohio
it
zoo.
was
I know that.
It was
It was
Cincinnati
Cincy, yeah.
Zoo.
Oh, okay, it was
Cincinnati
Cincy.
Zoo is in Ohio. It's on the Ohio side.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah.
live like
Jesus
20 minutes
Christ,
away from
Raiden.
there.
But Harambe, this one is for you. Sorry, bro, but you took. I guess you took one for the team in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever. Here's Harambe. I'll be setting up an in-game Eve charity, maybe with a Citadel attached to it in his honor. So if anybody wants to donate billions and billions and billions of ISK, it will go to guerrilla awareness in Eve.
Do you really think that's gonna work?
Like,
That's so horrible.
well, come on.
Derek.
What's one more charity in Eve gonna do?
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah,
here's the shot.
Worst case scenario,
Drink
both
everybody
just gonna
out
come
there.
break it up anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Boy, just tell me a date and a time. I'll take care of it for you.
Yeah,
No
I
fucks
heard about
given.
that on Tuesday, which it might have been the day after it happened then. Because I listened to ESPN Radio in the morning, so the Dan Le Batard show, and they always have Ron Miguel on Tuesdays, who is one of the main guys over at Zoo Miami, which is where that gorilla was from. And so they were talking with him about it, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And then I went and looked at the video. I was like, "Holy crap!" That
I
gorilla's
just
like,
can't. I
"Give me
just
this
can't even
baby."
believe the. Well, hold on. I say I can't believe the stink that is being made. The oh my god! Look, and it is terrible, right? I'm not going to call it a tragedy like some people out there will. All right. It's terrible that it happened, right? It's the whole chain of events is terrible, but the fact that they had to shoot this animal is terrible. However, it does not appear to be that there was a better option if your mind was on the saving of the child. But man, the freaking ruckus that is out there regarding this, like this was some dude shot down in the street by the police or
Well,
some shit.
and then
I'm like,
here's the
what the
thing.
fuck?
I mean, I live near Cincinnati, so we hear it on the radio. Like if I'm driving, I'll hear it, or I hear about it on the news, local news, if I watch it. And the real best part of like all this is that nobody is thinking of going after the mother for like the cost and damages of this shit. Like the mother is just like, hey, you almost got my child killed. Why isn't this safe enough? And it's like, you bitch, you're lucky they don't come over and sue your ass into the fucking.
I don't know.
bankruptcy.
Well,
If you want to rag on the mother, a lot of people are trying to start like donations and funds for the mother, and she's actually directing them all to donate.
All to the zoo.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, she's been
that's
cool
good.
about
Well,
it.
I
But
mean-
it's like at the same time, it's like imagine if that kid had died. That mother would have sued the shit out of them.
Well,
right?
here's the thing, right? Accidents happen, and parents take their eyes off their children for. I mean, from the reports that I've read out there, okay, they had a couple eyewitnesses who said, number one, this kid mentioned something about wanting to go into the enclosure, and the mother was telling him no, and then got distracted by one of the other. I've heard different stories of how many other kids were with her or whatever, 2, 3, whatever it was at the time. And in that under a minute that she was not looking, that is when this child somehow or another got into this thing, right?
Well,
It's kind of a
when-
red
when-
flag,
when
though.
their
Like,
fence is
I want to go
designed
in
is-
there. No, honey,
Well,
don't. Then you turn your
The way
back.
their fence is designed is interesting because it has like 2 layers of safety, right? It has like a basic guardrail which you can hold on to and have your kids sit on to look over, and then they have to go through like a wooded area, almost like a 5-foot section, and then jump into a moat. right? You can't really get to the gorillas unless you really want to.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like
and,
James
But
Bond's
someone
kid.
says, what the fuck
I mean-
happens to the tranquilizer
Yeah,
gun?
I
That's the
have,
thing. They came out and said that. They said if you shoot the thing with the tranquilizer,
It
it
gets
takes a
agitated.
minute or two. Right, it takes a
well,
minute or
well
two to
not only
take
does it take a minute or
effect.
two, but they get angry. This is what the
Right,
Ron
right.
Miguel guy, the zoo guy that watched of this gorilla in Miami, was talking about. He said, tranks not only do they take time, but when you hit a big male gorilla with the trank, it's going to take a few minutes for it to go down. But until then, once it gets hit with that trank, it gets super angry and takes its aggression out of at everything around
this
it.
is
Like they
not
said, when they
TV.
trank gorillas in the zoos, they start smashing the walls around them, hitting the ground. So if they had tranked that gorilla, it probably would have killed that kid.
This
they
is not
had to just
TV
take it
where
down.
there's a charging rhinoceros and they shoot a tranquilizer gun at it, and all of a sudden it just like stops dead in its tracks as it buries its freaking horn into the ground.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
This is not the movies, kids. I mean, it takes a little while. The animal gets agitated, and as we saw, because I truly believe that the gorilla was not trying to harm this child, right, at that moment. But we saw that just in dragging that child across the moat, it was like by the ankle. I mean, it looked like something out of the movie Anaconda, where like something like grabbed somebody from underwater and just pulled it across the lake or something.
They,
It'd be like
they
you
said-
throwing a
Right,
ragdoll
right.
around.
And all
like
it would
a
have taken
little
was that child's
doll.
head hitting the concrete or something the wrong way.
Yep.
By
They said
accident.
Yeah,
They
right,
said
right.
it dragged the kid too because it was like freaked out by the people, so it wanted to
Yeah,
move
well,
because it saw the kid
yeah,
as a
it's a-
possession and wanted to
yeah,
move
right,
it
right,
away
right.
from the people.
And that marshmallow is an absolutely valid thing. That if people want to have the discussion of whether or not zoos should exist or whether or not animals should be in confinement like that, that's an entirely different conversation. And maybe it's something that should be had out there. Obviously, there are conversations like that regarding things like SeaWorld, and other things especially where you've got animals that I don't know, seem to have a little bit more being of of sentience, okay,
Yeah.
that ability to think or whatever. But here's the thing, right? This is not something, at least I don't believe it is, where the people who work for that zoo made a rash decision because you know what, they just don't care. You're talking about people who I think enjoy working with animals and
No, it's
love
more
and
than
care for the animals and things like that. So
You
it
do
was
know that this
probably
is
a
how
really
Planet of the Apes
difficult.
starts, though, right?
You got to
Well, I mean,
understand.
it was
the
probably a
ones-
very difficult decision for them to have to make to do that. But
Well,
Well,
again,
part of
human
that,
life.
one of the local news stories interviewed a worker in that particular enclosement that was there for 5 years, and I think it was he or she, I can't remember, but they came out and said that they spend more time with these animals in the enclosure they're in charge of, like the lion or the ape zoo, than their own families. Right? They're with them 10, 11, 12 hours a day. They go home to their families for 4 hours, 5 hours, and go to bed. Right? But they're with these animals more than they are their own kids sometimes, and so it's a very emotional attachment, and to take a life of an animal like that drives them nuts. But to answer the question about the zoo, I don't know. It's a hard one because you look at my favorite experience with my nephew. I mean, he's 5 now, but when he was 3, we took him to the zoo for the first time, and he was on my shoulders, like running around. We were running around, and he saw the manatees. Something that he
I
only
just
ever
sent another
seen.
message to
Oh,
Graf, just for those people out there that are like, I just sent
You know-
another. I'm like, dude, man, they're about to fucking riot like Ferguson in here.
But his reaction to the whole like manatee, like it was his favorite animal of the whole zoo. I mean, he saw a lion get fed and everything, but the manatee, like his eyes lit up and he was like, "Oh my god, look at that thing! It's awesome!" He was like 3. Like to take away the experience from kids, especially inner city kids. Like Cincinnati Zoo is inner city, like it's downtown. These kids will probably never see outside the internet one of these creatures in real life. They'll just never have that kind of money to go see these things. So for them, it's just an amazing experience.
Well, most of
Um,
us will not have the ability
right,
to
right.
see one of these animals in real life if they're not in a facility like this.
Right, right.
There's a difference too, because people are bringing it up.
I
like,
just don't
you
hang
shouldn't
out
have
in that
animals
part of the
zoos.
world.
But I mean, sanctuaries versus zoos is obviously a thing, right? So
I'd
if you're
rather
going
have
to
a
keep
zoo.
animals in captivity, then why not a sanctuary as opposed to a zoo where they're on display for everyone to? Like, it's not the best life.
See, I wish
It
it was
depends
like
on
the
the
old
zoo
cartoons.
too. Like there's some
The old-
zoos that are really nice and some zoos are.
Well, while we have the guy here, maybe we should ask the cozy guy: is there in fact going to be a petting zoo at Eve Northeast?
Do we got gorillas coming, XO?
Do you guys have like goats?
I don't know, maybe he
Dogs.
disappeared for the moment too.
Yeah, maybe he ran away as quick as possible. It's like,
Yeah,
fuck this
exactly.
shit.
It's like, what if I
No,
got
we-
this on
we
the-
don't have any
He's over
gorillas
canceling the
planned.
gorilla that was coming to Eve Northeast.
Maybe I'll try to schedule him for next year if you think that'll be a hit, Dirk.
Yeah, get a cou-
you know,
get a
we should
couple
just
of
get
tigers
somebody
or
to
some
dress
shit.
up. You know, if Guard comes back next year, we'll get Guard. Oh, see, if Guard was coming this year, he would totally dress up in a
Wait,
gorilla
are you guys
outfit.
doing the LARPing event too? I keep telling people about that, and it makes
Wait,
me
it should be a
laugh
thing.
every time.
Wait,
It should
there's a
definitely be a
LARPing
thing.
event?
Chisumi says that you can
Oh,
pet your
no.
favorite
Eve
Eve
LARP.
player.
You do Eve LARPing.
But yeah,
What
let's
do you make like
si-
a cardboard Atron and fly around in it.
since we've opened it up to this, let's have Exo tell us a little bit about himself, where he's from, like, you know, where he's from in Eve, kind of a thing, and we can kind of like go into the Eve Northeast thing. So Exo, where are you from?
Well, I live in New Hampshire, in you know the real world, which is why the past several years the event was hosted in New Hampshire. In game, I'm the CEO of the Dark Space Initiative, which is a Wormhole Corp. We're also known as Scary Wormhole People from our Alliance ticker. If you went and watched parts of FanFest, I was the guy in the purple cape that gave a couple presentations this year.
So we are LARPing,
That
apparently.
was you? I'm pretty sure I saw you
Oh
quite a
my
few
god.
times.
Please no LARPing. Please.
I mean, the last time I met you, Boat, you were wearing an Admiral costume. I'm not sure you have much
that's
of a
not
leg to
LARPing,
stand
That's
on.
cosplay.
That's
That's
called
cosplay.
trying to get
No,
laid, okay?
but you see,
It's
I sat
cosplay.
next to you at the 2013 Alliance panel, and I distinctly remember you leaning over and going, "I'm a space admiral." Means I'm
That's
important,
right.
and then sitting
That's
back down.
LARPing.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, I was mildly drunk.
Confirmed.
Okay, so it just made it easier. Okay, fuck you, man. I was trying to get laid. That costume was a hit. Like, I had Icelandic women looking at me
Did
going,
you
"This
say
is
you were trying to
amazing."
get
Does
laid
that- does
in
that
your
actually work as a
cosplay?
pickup
Oh,
line?
Icelandic,
Right, exactly.
Icelandic women are probably
You're
all
like, oh,
over
good
anybody
idea. It's
dressed like
oh,
an
guess
admiral.
what, baby?
Oh my
I'm a
God.
space
You understand
admiral.
the pub crawl that night? Like the two like chicks carried the flag. I was like, should I wear this costume or should I go change? And they're like, no, wear the fucking costume. You'll get everyone's attention. It's amazing.
We're talking about
And-
Iceland, where fishboat captain is probably one of the most prestigious jobs
Exactly.
in the country.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was admiral. I was a fucking 1700s admiral. Fuck that. I was gonna go get mine done. Did you
You
get
should
laid?
wear
No, I
it
didn't.
to Vegas and see how big of a hit it is.
No, I'm not wearing it to Vegas. Fuck that. I'm contemplating the hat, but I was advised I shouldn't bring the hat because if I lose it while drunk, it'll be really bad.
Well, you'd lose the hat.
How hard was it
Yeah,
to make
it'd be
that
bad.
hat?
I lost the
I didn't
camera
make it. It was
the
a
first
gift.
Vegas. I mean,
Are you,
that's-
guys,
Really?
you guys wait? Are you guys
Yeah.
dressing up for Vegas since it's Halloween?
Why would we dress?
I was
what?
thinking, but I was like,
Oh!
do I really? Because I have a
Dressing
hard
up as
time
Dirk
fitting
McGurk.
everything I need in that small ass suitcase anyway. I don't know if I could fit a costume in there as well without
You
getting.
guys
getting
gotta
all
dress
fucked
up.
up.
I can't be
Just
the only
get a
one in an
cardboard
outfit.
cutout of
Right,
your
right,
Eve Online
right, let me ask
character
you
and
this
tape it
question.
to your face.
Yeah.
For people that have been to Vegas, maybe chat can tell me this. There's the outfit that Borat wears. You know, the green like leotard looking thing.
Right,
The-
right. Okay,
You know
so
what I'm
not,
talking
not
about?
the banana
mankini,
hammock.
The mankini.
The mankini. If
Oh, the
I
banana
wore
hammock,
that,
yes.
If I wore that and
don't.
my admiral hat, would they let me into a casino? That's the question I have.
If it
Yes,
was
because
less
hotels are in
dongy,
casinos.
mate, I don't know. I mean,
But you'd
Because
have to
that'd
market
be the
it.
only. That'd be
You
my
ha-
Halloween outfit. That'd be the
You
only
have
one.
to market it as like your swimsuit, and so you'd have to bring around a towel.
Yeah,
as
you
long
could-
as it's a legitimate
if you wore
swimsuit
like a
and fake,
sarong or
horrible German
something-
accent.
No, like I'm
To
talking
get
like
through the
actual-
casino.
like
There's
you're
an
talking about the
actual
full
thing on
banana
Amazon.
hammock.
Oh yeah,
well,
I'm talking about the green thing. Yep.
but here's the thing, because Planet Hollywood is, I mean, in the casino they have all these like a lot of the tables. They're not like full strippers; they aren't naked, but they're down in like kind of like almost lingerie attire,
Right,
dancing
right.
up
Yeah, but they're
by the
employees.
tables.
But I don't want to be.
Yeah,
close.
that's
They're
different.
employees, but at the same time, it's like you can be like, well, look at what she's wearing. Why
Yeah,
can't
but that'd
I
be
wear
like if
this?
you went into a strip club and you just took off all your clothes. I'm pretty sure you're getting
Yeah.
tossed the fuck out.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
should
yeah,
do
That's
that.
probably true, actually.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I
thinking
might,
about-
But-
I might go to a strip
I'm
club
talking
on
about
Saturday, so we'll
Cosmopolitan,
find out.
right?
If where you want to do this is up in the Eve area, okay, that's up kind of in a different section. So what you do is you just bring a little bag with you and you go into the men's room down by where kind of the convention
Oh,
center sort
yes.
of is. You
I
get
like
changed
you're
in the
going.
bathroom there, and then you just walk on in. You'd be like, "Yo, what's
Make it
up?"
a Pimperium uniform. Yeah, that's another thing. That or a pimpin uniform. I could wear that. But I'm trying to do something outrageous. If I'm gonna dress up for Halloween, it's gotta be outrageous. I don't ever go.
Me and Panda have cute
half-assed.
costumes that we're doing. We're dressing up as the logos.
What,
for...
a squirrel and a panda?
Okay, so
Oh,
it's
shit.
not half-assed, but Panda's doing the Panda
At least
Legion
come
logo,
original
and
this
I'm
year,
doing the
girls.
Goon logo for like the Alliance logos and shit. So we're doing.
You're
that.
doing a look. Wait, what?
So I'm dressing up as a slutty bee, and she's dressing up as a slutty phage.
Oh, that's the
Slutty
logo.
bee.
Phage?
A
It's
slutty
Phage.
bee.
Every girl has to
Phage.
dress
The
slutty
little-
on
the little
Halloween.
PL symbol.
Yeah, the
It has to be
the virus.
slutty, like the
Gotcha.
virus.
Okay.
How-
Yeah, I get it.
How can wait? What is the? All right, let me ask
What
you
is a
this.
slutty bee though?
Yeah,
Well,
what
no,
is
no,
a-
no.
what-
Oh my god, I have a.
Why do you
I
have
have-
to include
Which is
slutty
so
at that?
ridiculous because I have a
The
picture
joke-
somewhere of a
the joke
slutty
is to say
bee.
fuck goons, so it's like it's.
But
a
why
joke.
do you have to wear a? Why does it have to have the word slut in front of it? Why can't it just be a
'Cause
bee
it's
costume? I
Halloween.
mean, come on
Because
now.
if it was a bee costume, it'd be like all puffy and like I'd be
Yeah,
really
exactly.
covered. But if I'm
That's
in
a
a
real
mini
bee.
skirt and like a tank top, it's slutty. So therefore, it's slutty.
Have
You know
not
that
seen
the
it?
only
hold on, hold on. I
girls-
found a
The
picture.
Googie's
Only-
got a motherfucking cigar. It's a fat.
I'm
bee.
gonna
It's
have a
called fat
cigar
bee
and
for
I'm
a
gonna have the
reason.
helmet with the little bandage thing
Yeah,
on
it's
it.
called a fat bee for a
All right,
reason.
right.
That's why it has to be a fat bee.
I
You can't
did a
just-
Google
not
image
getting
search
paid
of
for it.
slutty bee, and this was the first picture that popped up. I like it. I'm okay with this.
Actually, it's really funny. I'm not
Yeah.
going to tweet it out there because it's got another
mine's
individual,
gonna have
another
way
player
more
of Eve in it.
costume.
But last year at one of the, actually, I think it was one of the people that was taking one of the pub crawl groups around was dressed up like in Rain's terms, a slutty bee.
Now, see,
There you
now,
go.
She looked really motherfucking good. I
now,
gotta say.
the only way you can see the only reason I qualified a slutty thing is if you wore like a cardboard cutout of the actual like Alliance logo and put it on both ends and then nothing underneath, right? That would be a slutty outfit.
Okay,
Right?
but I kind of need something underneath.
Like
or
a
that-
like a
Why?
hobo?
What? That's what the cardboard's for. Yeah, like a hobo sign.
Like a
You know
hobo
what I
sign?
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that would be your slutty bee outfit.
Just
You know
like
what I mean?
crudely
No,
drawn
you
out.
can't,
Exactly.
all right, but you
Like-
can't do that in
Nothing at
Vegas.
all.
All right,
That
you
would
can't do that in
equal
Vegas
slutty.
because if you do anything that looks even remotely like a hobo, then the other hobos that are like the actual hobos
Well,
will think
you'll
you're
get-
part of their clan and like
you'll
you
get
get
bumped
dragged
out.
in.
Right.
Literally.
But you do like what Dirk said. You wear like regular clothing, then you change like a restroom before the convention or whatever. But if I'm gonna dress up, man, I'm gonna do it for just the Eve thing. Because I want to see the look on guard's face or any of them when I walk out with a banana hammock outfit and a hat on. I mean, just imagine, especially if they live stream it. Could you imagine the look on these people's faces?
You just like kind of linger in the camera and turn around, like 360 it a bit.
Oh
That's why
my-
I wanna
okay.
do that's why I want to do a presentation. Just walk on
No,
stage with like a
don't.
walk on stage with like a fucking whatever you want to call it, like a bathrobe, and then rip the bathrobe off and be like,
That's how the
"Yo!"
Alliance panel gets banned
So-
for like 3 years.
So I did. Then I was like, okay, now I gotta do the other one. So I did a Google image search of slutty phage, and this is what I got for that.
Oh my god.
Why'd you? Oh, you posted in TeamSpeak.
I put it in Teams
What the
again.
fuck? How is that?
What is that?
No. Okay, so
That's
Candace
not
takes
slutty,
more
that's just-
creativity.
That's nightmare worthy. Ugh.
Jesus Christ.
How would
I
somebody
don't
dress?
even know.
Riker196 wants someone to dress up as Matani. How would you even do that? Get a
Neat.
Uh,
Like,
like,
that's
it's
what it
very
is,
A
yeah.
simple.
red shirt.
It's very
Just a red
simple.
shirt
You
and a
get red
bicycle?
dress up. No, red dress shirt. A pair of like going out boots, like like the ones that you see like Mike Myers wear for his Austin Powers get up, and then a pair of like black pants. You get yourself a fake goatee, and then you do your hair up real short and like gel it up, and that's Batani right there. Every
and
outfit.
just
all
talk
time.
about clubbing everywhere you go?
You have to do #Love2Club every time.
I mean,
you
how
talk.
many people in chat? How many people in chat would actually tune into the Eve stream if Boat was in a banana hammock on live stream for an hour? I mean, come on now, that would be a great
Probably
thing to
all
see.
of them.
Right, exactly. I mean, I had a guy offer me $100 if I do the truffle shuffle, but then I looked up the terms of service and they banned me for it, so I can't do that.
I don't think
Well-
he specified without
Well,
the
this
shirt
is what
though.
they mean when they talk about a wardrobe malfunction.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
Oh.
Actually, I don't think they would let you on Twitch if that's what you were wearing, because that's one of those
Well,
things
but-
like Twitch
but I'm
wouldn't want
doing
it on.
Right, but it is a, well, I don't really care about how Twitch reacts because it's not my
You
stream.
cannot self-identify as
That's
somebody
the
who
Eve
doesn't
stream.
wear a shirt. So,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it
yeah.
would have to be
Right,
more
right,
than
right.
just a banana hammock.
Ah, damn.
Seriously, you
Even-
can't
even
like,
on Twitch,
not wear
no.
a shirt on
I was
Twitch?
even gonna do
No,
like the
you
whole
can't.
shave the chest and everything and make it look all like model-like. And
Well, you don't
everything.
just do that
Why
anyway.
don't you wax it?
You don't just shave your,
No,
your chest anyways.
I do sometimes. It drives me nuts. I can't stand fucking hair all over it. Ugh.
Yeah, no.
I
Paul, they,
used to shave my legs.
or,
But you could
Drum-
go. You could
Dude,
go
shaved
pantsless.
legs are
Were you a
Right.
swimmer?
Wrestling. It was like a craze for like.
Is that a
shit,
thing? Is that
4
a
or
thing
5
in
years.
wrestling? I know it's a
It
thing
used
in
to
swimming,
be
but
for like 4 or 5 years because you catch the hair on the mat, it'd rip the hair off, and it sucked. Oh, that would suck.
Shaved legs are like the best feeling ever, by the way.
Yes, they are. I stopped doing it though. Like it just got to a point where I was like, yeah, man, whatever.
Wait, you
It
were
was so
shaving
much
your
effort.
legs?
Yeah, I did. I did for like what 3-4 years during wrestling.
Why? Oh,
Wrestling,
Wrestling,
dude.
wrestling.
Wrestling. Yeah, yeah. I also had that singlet on. That
Oh,
was,
there
like,
he is.
Came up like this far off your lower section. So, the old 1980s version, that shit was amazing. I miss those. But yeah, but if it wasn't for
All
the
right,
fact
so
that I get
finally-
banned, oops, sorry,
So,
go ahead, go ahead.
so finally, Grath showed up and he
Yeah.
dragged that McLean guy with him.
Can I?
Hi,
Can I
Zach!
know?
since I'm
Hi,
addicted to
Bo.
McLean right now. But no, Grath was supposed to be here earlier, so all you people out there were gonna riot or whatever the hell it was that you were gonna do if Grath didn't show up. He finally made it. I don't know how much time he actually has left because he told me that he's got to go to the gym tonight.
But that's like so 10 o'clock my time is 11 o'clock your time, evidently.
Oh, okay.
So when you said we start at 9, I'm thinking, shit, I got 2 hours. That's fucking great.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I didn't. I had about 45 minutes.
And then McLean is going to be one of my co-pilots, or maybe I'm his co-pilot. He was there last year, so I get to be his co-pilot this year for Eve Northeast. But I do want to get back to that because that's where this part of the conversation started. We can get back to how Boat is going to wear a fucking green screen banana hammock out in Vegas, afterwards. But EXO, tell us
Are you really
again.
going out in a Speedo?
I'm thinking about it, but I don't know if we get.
You're a
trouble.
bold
Sorry, I don't
man,
know.
dude. I saw the streets of Vegas, and that's fucked up.
But EXO, tell us again. Okay, so so you're Scary Wormhole people, which is one of those groups out there that is in fact scary for people. But how did Eve Northeast begin? And tell us about what is changed about it this year.
So it started as I think how probably a lot of the other meetups around the world started as kind of an internal corp function. Myself and at the time as a smaller corp, all of our leadership was mainly people that you trusted and knew because you knew them in real life. So my directors and my my management was all people that I knew from high school and or that I just met and like they were around. So we had a barbecue up at one of my court mates' houses, and we just had it there, and we had it there for a couple years, and then back in 14 we decided to try and be like, let's just invite other Eve people and have a big party. So we opened it up to the public, and it was a hit. We had about 50 something people show up that weren't in my corp, and including my guys, we were up in the 60s, I think, and it was a big hit. Much larger than I think. I'd poked CCP and was just like, I know you guys are, as a couple of years ago, they were kind of really just starting to get started with trying to reach out and send devs around. And when I told them that we were going to have a whole bunch of Eve players together in a barn having a party, I think they underestimated the meetup because we ended up only getting a live Twitch or a live Skype session with them, and you could just tell as soon as the video opened up and they saw how many people we piled into that barn that they were not expecting it to have been that big.
Which is strange coming from where they are, because I mean they pretty much have parties in barns there as well.
Yeah, well, I think part of it comes. I mean, if you haven't dealt with, setting up Eve meets or working with CCP, is a lot. The problem I'm sure they deal with is a lot of people, they exaggerate how big their event's going to be, and so CCP hit. When someone says my event's going to have 80 people, I don't think they actually expected it to have 80 people. I think they thought I was, up playing it or whatever. But we actually had almost 80 people crammed into a barn in, rural New Hampshire. So. We ramped it up, did it again last year, and we had 135 people come, including CCP Guard and CCP Rise. We had poker. We tried to bring back the Eve collectible card games, so we had a tournament of that going on as well. We rent an inflatable jousting ring, and we called it the real life PvP tournament, and we had a single elimination tournament climbing to the top to just clobber people with a big Q-tip. I think that was a hit, judging by how many people demanded that I bring it back this year. And I mean, the people that clobbered their way to the top as the RL PvP champion walked out with almost 35 billion in prizes last year. This year will be very similar. So I've already booked and rented it again this year. So if you just need to get that 1v1 that you're always challenging people to out of the way, we have a jousting ring that you can do it in. There's no links. So you know, if you actually lose, it's actually all your fault this time. Jay McLean was there last year. We were lacking on outdoors things for him, I think, but he's coming back, so I guess it couldn't have been too bad.
Well, hold on. It wasn't outdoors. It was the fact that like all the. Well, I'll be nice about this. The barn was
Gay.
not. It was occupied by
There
a
was
certain
men's
subset
sex
of
going
people.
on, and you can't tolerate that.
No, the
but
barn
are you
was
like a
sexually
military
attracted
dude,
to
though?
other
Like-
barns.
What sort of outdoor
Hey.
stuff did you want? Like trench digging?
I mean,
We're
there's
totally
nothing wrong
drinking.
with
I'm
men's
totally
sex.
digging a trench right next to McLean's tent this year.
I can show you how to make a fighting position.
Get some sandbags out, some revetting, and just
No,
hold the
but
line?
something we struggled with last year was we only had one big like inside room, and so if you weren't interested in whatever the main event was going on at the time, that basically meant you had to go stand outside and just hang out and drink beer with people, which isn't awful. But if you weren't interested in poker, and then you weren't interested in, you know, the Eve card game, and maybe you weren't interested in some of the player presentations we had, then it was definitely possible that
In other words,
you found yourself.
if you were interested in socializing, those events weren't for you.
How did? How
Because
did
they
this
were, like,
year's
the least
drink
social
beer
of,
and
like, the
Tito's
events.
with McLean and Dirk booth
Well, I mean,
In-
we're
in
gonna
their
be plenty
trench.
social out there. It's gonna be great.
in the trench.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dig
in
the
the
trench.
trench.
Go to the
Like,
trench
alright,
for
time to
fucking
go-
shots.
Let's
Although
hit
we
it,
will
and
have
then
to
McLean will
mark-
be like, all right, who's got first watch?
We will have to
Dude, we're
mark
gonna be
the,
playing
the
pong.
actual
We're gonna be
trench
playing
from
pong.
the slit trench.
We're gonna be playing
This
beer
year,
pong from like
w-
morning until the sun goes down.
Oh yeah,
Oh my god, why are people freaking out? Can you hear me?
we're gonna try.
We
to
can.
get,
Yeah.
We
a
can't
beer-
see you though. Your camera's like, where'd it go?
Yeah, I'm sitting in the bed right now.
We're gonna try to get a beer pong tournament on the official schedule that I can then throw prizes at. So if playing beer pong to win spaceships interests you, then you should also continue to have a good time. We also have multiple places this year. Multiple places, multiple like rooms. So the schedule is going to be multi-track. So
This is gonna be
when-
like a swingers party. I can feel it.
So if you're not interested in poker, there'll be an entire another room full of people drinking beer that you can sit down at and hang out and socialize.
Make sure
I
the
see
beer
we got
pong
grass
is
in
not
here
filled
now,
with
finally.
beer though.
No,
Hey,
we
Clean?
learned and switched the water. It was good.
They do vodka.
I remember beer pong back when I used to play beer pong all the
No,
time.
you
at
don't.
night.
You don't put actual whatever you're gonna drink in the cups.
Yeah,
Oh,
you just put
we
water
did-
in the cups.
when
Yeah,
back
you
in my
just
Not
have
when
it
you're
in
out
house,
in like
man,
the field, bro.
that was just part of the game. You
You're
had
not
to-
in
Exactly.
college.
Well, you're dumb.
Well,
See-
it,
see,
it was,
no,
it
no,
was,
no,
it
no,
was,
it
it was
was
during
beer
the
and
time
you
when
drink right out of the cup. I mean, it's
yeah,
just,
it was during the time when
Right.
I was at the age where I
this
should
is
have been in
before
college.
Zika
Drayden,
and AIDS,
Drayden.
though.
Drayden, we already know that you shouldn't be allowed to make your own decisions because you make terrible choices.
Too.
Number
can't wait.
number
Like,
one, the guy with
Wow.
herpes you don't let play.
I actually think the last year's Vegas was a little uneventful, so I'm gonna have to spice it up this
Oh
year.
Jesus!
Please.
There is no amount of
No,
chaperoning that's
no,
gonna save
no,
me
no,
this
no,
year. I'm
because
telling you
You're
that
gonna
right
end
now.
up making out.
Dude,
with
You're gonna
all
be in
the-
my room, bro. I don't think so. Not in my fucking.
Wait, you're sharing a room? What?
Yeah, I'm
They
playing
are.
with
Fuck
McLean
that! I'm
this
getting
year.
my own room.
Yeah, did
queen
you guys
room.
need more
A
than
queen
one
room.
bunk bed? Because I only have you guys scheduled for one.
Did you switch the beds up, McLean? I mean, not that. I mean, I guess we can just
Oh,
share
I
a
haven't
queen if
called
we
yet.
have to. I
haven't
mean,
called yet. I wrote
Is
it
this-
down. To
I have a quick
remember to
question
do
for
it.
y'all. Is this mic pretty loud or is it quiet?
that seems
good.
fine.
No, it's
It's
good.
moderate.
Well,
Seems fine here. I
do
don't
a
know what it
mic,
sounds like
I
out
don't know,
on the
I might
stream.
hear me. I might fart real big. I don't know if it'll pick it up.
Oh, you're on.
Oh, it's
you're on
definitely
just
gonna pick
always
it up.
open then.
Dude, have you thought? Look, we've had hosts, co-hosts on the show or whatever, people on the show or whatever that have sat on their bed during the show. Have you thought about just setting your camera up with you sitting on your bed and talking
Dude,
to us from your bed?
I'm totally ready to do that, dude. I told you we're gonna do Open Comms.
Pajama
sleepover.
party.
Pajama
Pajama
party.
I mean,
yes!
it's kind of cool when Panda does it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the viewers would enjoy seeing you just kind of sitting cross-legged on the bed.
Oh,
and...
no, I'm telling you, I thought about that. I said one day we're gonna start the show, and when the camera comes up, I'm gonna be laying on my bed on my side, with giving the sexiest pose I can try to come up with.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
you gotta
see,
do
that's
it
the
on your,
You're
on
gonna
your
have
belly.
like a plate of
You
ribs.
do it on your
in there
belly,
as well.
resting your head up with your hands and
You
with
gotta
your
have
legs, up
your
in the air
legs, like,
behind
doing
you.
the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like a
Just,
teenage girl.
just be sitting there doing some Kegels while
See,
we're
I
doing the
can't
show.
actually-
Nobody wants to see him shit, Drake.
Oh,
While he's reading his while he's reading his Tiger Beat magazine.
See, I
I
can't
just find
actually,
it's-
I can't
this is
actually do
the
a pajama
best.
party stream. It would be terrible because I have these
Oh.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle boxers I have to wear, and Twitch wouldn't allow that. So
But yeah, so this year at Eve New England, and sorry, just to get back to this,
Sorry.
I do want to put it out there. This year at Eve New England, we have got CCP Logi Bro, who his biggest claim to fame is being the Group 10
Group 10?
Group 10.
pub crawl leader from Eve Vegas last year. And then we've got CCP Savior. Now, CCP Savior, I'm going to be quite honest. When I heard that name, I'm like, legitimately, who the fuck was that?
I don't know that guy yet, but
Don't know, right?
You probably wouldn't have heard of him. Like, I honestly was exactly the same. You know, Guard hit me up on Facebook and just said, "We finally got your devs figured out. We're sending you Logi Bro and Savior." And my first thing was, "Who the fuck is CCP Savior?" I guess he works.
This
on
is the
both
guy
of
who
them.
actually came up with Fozzie Sov. He's the guy that convinced Fozzie one night at a bar that this is what you should do. No, actually, it's not him.
yeah,
It's
If
not him
that's
at all.
the case,
Are
that's
you
not-
implying Fozzie Sov was a drunken idea?
I'm
Save
not sure if
yourself.
that's who he is. He's on the art and sound team. He does stuff for some of the art, you know, the artwork, and he does stuff for some of the sound changes. I really don't know a ton about that. Beyond that, I do know that it sounds like him and Logi are going to be presenting something at E&E this year. I'm really hoping that that's, you know, their way of tempering expectations for saying we're going to show you stuff we haven't shown anybody else yet, because I've been harassing them to do that basically every year since they said they're going to send us devs.
That's cool. I mean, yeah, and for people out there, you know, again, because I didn't know who Savior was, or there are people out there who are really into the fucking art side of Eve, and if you've got people who work in the art department at Eve, I mean, there's going to be nerds that that come to this that are like, oh yeah, man, the way you do
pointy
those
bits.
fucking graphics, it's like, oh man, I fucking shit myself when I zoom in. So I mean,
Wow.
so
Wow.
there you go. You got CCP
I
Savior
don't even
coming.
know what to say to that. Just
They got to
wow.
bring different people for different things, though. You know what I mean? It's like,
well,
yeah, you
it's,
can-
it's
Yeah,
good meeting- it's good meeting new devs because I mean, this last Vegas, I mean, there's a lot of CCP devs that I'd never. I mean, maybe
Absolutely.
like, everyone else has heard of. Like, I didn't know who Locatar was until this last Vegas. I guess everyone else did. I didn't know Hunter. I didn't know.
Dude, Hunter's so great. He's
Yeah,
in
no,
my group.
they're all awesome. But I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of these apparently big name CCP devs that I didn't know who they were until I met them. So
It's okay. I'm sure they don't know who you are either.
yeah, oh,
I-
no,
I
don't
think
any
it's
of them know
really
that, but
cool,
Avalon
okay?
is like the one CCP dev that knows who I am.
Well, actually, that was one of the jokes that I made to Guard the other day, where I was kind of prodding him about something, and I'm like, dude, just send Avalon. I'm like, just be like, dude, you got to go camp.
So
If you're not going to get a ride to Vegas, but here, grab a
Is
tent
everyone
and
gonna
go.
go to Vegas?
who
I-
else
I have
going to
no
Vegas
idea.
this year? That's my next question.
We don't know
Where-
yet.
Where devs are going. We don't know.
No, we
And
don't.
they better
I'm sure
send
Guard
cool
will-
fucking
Guard
devs.
They don't
knows
announce that until later.
A substantial amount of the devs are going to be at Vegas. Probably like way more than even in the past, because the impression that several people got from FanFest this year was that they're slowly kind of moving their like big yearly announcements to Vegas, because I guess there's projections suggest that Vegas is going to overtake FanFest in regards to how
Nice.
many people
Of
are
course.
going and
Of
trying
Of
to
course
go.
it is.
I mean,
It's Vegas.
what the fuck? I mean,
Hold on,
But-
it will,
like,
it
the
will
other
if they
problem
allow
is-
it.
Listen,
Well, I mean,
Is
if you
that-
think about like, what's the biggest party, Vegas or Reykjavik?
well,
Well, right now
see,
it's still Reykjavik.
Vegas is
Well,
a
here's the
party.
right now,
though.
just from
People
tradition.
go-
Reykjavik's a party too, but the problem
Not
is like
really,
FanFest can't really grow anymore. You know, like we're
Yeah,
already at the largest place they even have in Iceland, and there really isn't a lot they can do to keep changing it up. You know, if you've gone several times, then besides the social aspect, FanFest itself quickly blends to being the same-ish stuff.
well,
And
that's the
Good.
thing is like people go to Vegas to go to Vegas. There's nothing outside of Vegas to go see. People that go to Reykjavik.
I took
there
a
are
really
couple of-
nice helicopter
Yeah.
ride last year to the Grand Canyon and over
Yeah.
the
Well,
Hoover Dam.
but that's like a little bit thing. Like one guy, one of the goons went to Vegas. He spent all this money to go to, not to Vegas, to Reykjavik to go for the FanFest,
And then he rented a Jeep for 2 weeks and disappeared and never went to the Eve party.
You can disappear
Right,
in the Nevada, the greater Nevada area as well.
Yeah,
Now,
right.
you may-
I don't
and
see
just
that
like
happening,
Iceland,
though,
you may
know?
not come back because they
Yeah,
also
as they
have
said
eyes.
they said in Casino, there's a lot of holes in the desert.
Yeah, no shit. It's that same desolate landscape, just drier.
Yeah, it is kind of
But,
surprising. Like when you're in Vegas, it's like, oh man, this is crazy. And then like you go a mile out of town, and it's like, wow, this is Death Valley almost.
But no, I mean, and again, I have not been to FanFest. I kind of saved myself for Vegas because I think that it is kind of a destination location for different reasons. Not to say that I couldn't enjoy myself up in Iceland by going and touring around and things like that. But what I really like about Vegas is, again, I've said this before for people that have heard it. It's all in one place, where most of the people stay, where the event is, where people are hanging out at the bar right downstairs. Like everything is right there, as opposed to what I've heard about FanFest, where people are staying at various locations from all across the way.
Yeah, it's super
You
spread out.
you cross paths at Harpa. You may cross paths at some of the local establishments, but as opposed to Vegas, where you're crossing paths with people just all day long.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Vegas will be more fun than I had in Reykjavik. That's for sure.
But
we'll see. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, this Eve Northeast, this is something I'm looking forward to. I know McLean is. We are definitely going to be pimping a good time for that. He's bringing Mrs. McLean this year, who didn't go last year. I'm bringing Mrs.
Not-
McGurk.
She was
She
there
went
last
last
year,
year.
wasn't she?
Oh, she
Yeah.
was there last year. I didn't realize she was there.
I mean,
last year.
that a real awkward moment where like, well, he was with some lady last year.
Yeah. Mrs. McGurk is coming
Wow.
this year, and and I can tell you right now, I have never had Mrs. McGurk like sleep in a tent. So this is like, it's not like, she's done the 40-foot motorhome bit and all that kind of stuff with me, but this is gonna be fucking interesting.
Is she gonna bring like one of those like memory foam pads to lay on the ground?
Oh,
and
she's
everything?
already saying we need to get an inflatable mattress. She goes, I'm into glamping, not camping.
So I
You
take
should
it
just
she's
tell
not
like,
very
yeah, I brought all
outdoorsy.
it. I brought all that stuff. It's good. And then you get down there, it's like, here's your mummy bag, and there you go.
There,
I did
the-
bring a pillow for you.
There are
Get
some
one of
things to
those
do.
Harry Potter tents.
It's 90 minutes from the Mount Airy Casino. So if people just want to take a day trip to go down to the Mount Airy Casino, they they can do that. Other than that, it's it's really just kind of out in the middle of nowhere in northeast Pennsylvania. And it's just gonna be hanging out with bros and Eve bros and broettes and having something to drink and
We got good food planned
Shit.
this year,
nice.
even better than last year.
You got enough of it?
We should.
Because
That's-
last
I'm-
year, those motherfuckers sitting in the goddamn barn were up there having seconds and thirds before people who were out in the
Well,
field who weren't
see-
doing the card
Why are
trick
you out in the
didn't
fields?
get any
What were you
food.
See,
doing in the
I
fields?
almost took that wrong. when
Picking
he said
cotton.
Up in the barn doing seconds and thirds. I thought, wait. What are they doing at the barn? Why are they so
Last
private
year
at the
we
barn?
had
You know what I mean?
some minor issues with I think mainly Saturday night dinner because we served ribs and chicken tips, and when you're planning the event, you kind of come up with an amount of how much you think everyone's going to try to eat, and then you go and have some people that, let's say they're large and maybe have large appetites that just blow your estimates out of the water. Because in theory, we had food for everyone, but we didn't regulate it, and we let people just go and serve themselves. And next thing you know, I watched people walk away with plates full of like an entire rack or plus of ribs, and next thing you know, there weren't any left.
Yeah.
These are people that will
Underestimating
loot
the
your
nerd-
wreck at the,
nerd appetite is a thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, number one, once you've seen enough Eve players, you know that they are gonna be back at the freaking buffet table.
We have a
you know,
term for that. We call them goody goons.
yeah.
But they're the big guys that roll up. I did that once when I showed up to the thing. I was just a big fat guy there, and I felt so bad because I was like the fat guy. But then I had a cigar in my mouth, and I acted like a Don King or something, just walking around.
But yeah, definitely definitely it looks like. Oh, and the other thing is, okay, so I linked it a little, while earlier. But if you go to evenortheast.com, you'll be able to see some kind of things for the site there. Or if you go to Fair, what is it? Fair. What the hell is it being held again? Fair Camp? Fair.
It's Camp Fair Play. I'm digging up the link right now.
Yeah, it's fair with an E or whatever.
Fair with an E play.org.
Yeah, fair with an E, FAIRE play.org.
The event, the venue
That's the actual
itself,
website for the for the
it
place.
is a LARPing venue. They have.
It
like,
is. It's set up all LARPy. It's set up all LARPy, baby.
Yeah, they have frequent alliance LARPing. I think it's WoW based. But like they have loads of people come. So the place itself has like fields and a forest and a river and trails that run through that whole place. So if getting away from all the Eve nerds also interests you, supposedly you can spend like 90 minutes just walking in a giant ass circle around the place because it's got several acres of.
You know who I want to see LARP? I want to see Grath LARP.
Oh my god, if Grath was there LARPing, there's like a part of me that wants to do like a GoFundMe to get Grath to come out and like just even
Grath,
stand by LARPing equipment.
Yeah. Hey Grath, you there?
Yeah.
Would you in fact joust LARP with Big Red Boat?
Man, what would we get to ride?
A donkey.
One of you can ride
Plane.
Plane, one of you can ride dirt.
Hold on. You get Jeff Rader and he gets fucking Xander Phoenix.
Perfect. Fucking perfect.
No, fuck that. No, I want someone
He's
that
like, I'm
actually
going
lift
for the
5
horse.
pounds.
I got a war horse.
Nice.
I just grabbed two names right
So
out of. I can't see Matani being much of a war horse.
You gonna come hang out with Vegas again?
Oh yeah, I am
Laz.
actually coming
Okay,
back.
the boat and Laz versus Grath and Jeff Rader.
That's not
Oh.
fair though, because Laz has the power of the beard.
Right, and
Hey.
Laz could actually lift 5 pounds. Like I'm not sure Jeff Raiders can really lift.
Wow.
Same
Damn.
thing Matani can't lift.
I've
That
never
was
met
an
Jeff.
Assassination
You know.
question to ask you.
I don't know.
I've never
Laz,
met Jeff.
Laz
I
told
gotta
me
be
he
honest,
hasn't
I
been
don't
to
know,
the
he doesn't
gym in
sound
like a long
big.
time. So
No,
Jeff
Laz
Rader
is
does not
fucking
sound like a very
slacking.
big guy.
What?
I will admit that he does not
Yeah,
sound like a
Jeff's
big
like
dude.
4'11", maybe.
Oh, then,
Oh my
okay,
God.
well, then I'm
Oh
just
my
the
God,
power
that's
of the beard,
exactly
Grath
how I
has the
visualize
power of
Raider.
no less than
Well,
12 spies.
Well, then it'll be boat jousting against Raider. Oh man, that'd be so fucking funny. Each of you's got a broom or some random shit. Out
Dude,
there.
no broom. You could put an
They-
eye out with a broom. You have to have
they
joust with
actually
like a
have-
Nerf bat or something.
I don't know if you guys have
But
seen that.
noodles.
It's
Pretty
like
sure
a
we
History
both have
Channel or
jobs
something.
to show up at Monday.
Right,
Can't
right,
show
right.
up with a patch over one eye talking about, I lost this in a nerd jousting competition.
Missing
with
an
a
arm
fucking
or
broom."
something. You know?
Extreme
Oh,
nerd
okay.
jousting.
No, a Nerf bat for each of you'd be
No,
badass.
they actually have. There's a show. What is that? History Channel or whatever. Where they actually get people out there with real metal outfits and
Oh
real
yeah,
swords.
it was fucking.
like
It
fucking
was
fighting,
brutal
man.
too.
Like holy
Like medieval
shit, those
times.
people. Yeah, like medieval fighting. Like they put them in an arena, like 10 dudes, and every man for themselves. And like there's a little clip.
No,
it's
but like
really
these
amazing.
dudes were really doing it. Like they
Like
were getting
these two
fucked
guys are
up.
sword fighting, and this guy comes out of nowhere, like drop kicks him, just knocks him out. You know, it's like holy shit.
Jesus,
That shit would be amazing.
That would be some good shit, man.
But no, so since we're talking about CCP, can we talk about CCP's latest is it fuckery with this patch or Citadel release?
Well, hold on.
What they do now?
We can move to that, but I just want to close out this other thing by saying, look, if any of you out there actually want to experience 3 to 4 days of camping with Eve Nerds, go to evenortheast.com and sign up for this. It's actually
.org.
no, evenortheast.com is the actual website for the event itself. It's gonna be fun. So if you're within the middle of fucking nowhere, Northeast Pennsylvania metropolitan area, find a way to get there. If CCP can get there, so can you.
If you want to come and you're not sure if you can physically get here, drop me a line in game or use the contact us submission on the website. My in-game name is XukiZ, and the contact submission's on the contact us page because I've got a map of people that are coming, and we've got people coming from everywhere. Besides CCP, there's a couple other people flying in from Europe. I've got some people flying in from Cali, and we've got people driving from Kansas,
Whoa,
Florida,
just because I'll
Maine.
roam with you doesn't mean I want to carpool with you.
Well,
Oh my God,
if
you
you're
do
too
not- you
good to
do not wanna
carpool, then
carpool with
you're too good
BC.
to carpool. But I mean, if getting here is the problem or what's going to stop you, then feel free to reach out to me and I'll try to get you. I'll see what I can do to get you here.
talking about
Marshmallow, I can guarantee you that there will be a group of people who are not playing board games. Okay,
I
there
call
may be
shotgun on the
some.
back seat.
There may be some because it is a nerd fest, but
You have to have a good back seat for BC.
some of us will be having political conversations by the tent while roasting marshmallows.
Yeah,
Lame.
that happens too. We had
Well,
had
there's
some
a-
pretty good political arguments going on last year. Also,
Somebody's
the,
gonna get
the,
an ass
the
beaten
ticket
then.
to the event includes everything. If you can get here, you're all set. You don't have to go buy food. That's in the ticket. All the events are covered, and if you don't want to go camping, we still have bunk space in some of the cabins or rooms in the barn because this place has before we started filling them up, it had 60 beds for people to stay in. Because
Sorry.
they're used to the LARPing guys all coming up for the weekend and they sleep in beds and stuff so they can wake up and go hit each other with swords or whatever it is that they do every weekend. The place is pretty busy actually. Because the original reason we had to swap venues is the guy, the previous my court member that owned the farm we used to use, he moved, and I did reach out to the new owners, expecting that they wouldn't, and they actually didn't even want to talk to me. So, my quest to find a new venue led us to this place, and this was actually the only weekend of the entire summer, all the way into October, that they even had open. So, assuming this venue works out, we're gonna have to remember to book it because I guess LARPing's pretty popular in Pennsylvania because they already have LARPing weekends booked out all the way into October till they
Real
close
quick,
up.
Drayden, you need to get a hold of Marshmallow, who just said in chat the reason she doesn't go to Eve meets is because she might bang Eve nerds. So,
Are we sure
Hey!
Marshmallow's not a dude?
It's probably a dude. There's no women on the internet. That's a dude.
No, Marshmallow is a female.
Oh, okay.
She is.
But
yeah.
someday,
Why-
well,
They have a
What's
term for
wrong
that.
with
We're gonna say
banging
it's called a
nerds,
good
though?
fucker.
I'm just
There's
telling
nothing
Jeremy.
wrong with
I'm just telling
Nothing
Jeremy,
as long
I'm
as
just
there's
telling
Marshall,
not
Jeremy.
come to
somebody else
Vegas.
in
Hold on,
line.
I'm just telling
there's a
Drayden,
first for everything.
That's why I was telling Drayden real quick. He needs to hook
Don't
up with
open that
Marshmallow.
story.
Get Marshmallow to come out there to
Yeah,
Vegas.
leave that
'cause
one alone.
Marshmallow just typed in the chat there. The reason I don't go to Eve meetups is I might bang nerds. So, well, there
Hey,
you go.
we're good to. Oh, okay, Bo got it. Never mind.
What's interesting is that you know what I mean, having been to a few, obviously Eve Vegas and then Eve Boston or whatever. There is your fair share of nerds, and obviously all deep down, we are kind of nerds, but but by and large,
Never mind, Drayden. She's terrible at oral.
They're
Oh,
just
that's fine.
oh,
You don't have to be good at that.
well,
Wait, seriously?
well.
How
So,
are you terrible at oral?
you tell
It's
them they're good at
literally
the time.
easiest thing ever.
Oh yeah,
It's a
Have you
possibility
ever
you've
given
had
a
oral with me.
blowjob?
That's an odd
Unless you
frame of
have
reference to
braces.
have.
If you have braces, I can understand the problems that could arise. But
Nope.
Why? The front of your teeth shouldn't be touching anything.
Yeah,
there
no,
should
I
be no teeth involved at all.
tell you right now. I don't care how bad
No
you are.
teeth
5
is-
minutes
Okay,
in,
what
why
is wrong
are
with
you
you'll be
in
good.
this discussion here? Come on now.
All right, just in closing, like if you're worried about like all of the turbo nerds about Eve Northeast, you don't want to go out because there's just gonna be turbo nerds there. There is a good solid group of people there that are gonna be getting super fucking drunk and just making a lot of bad decisions that aren't turbo nerds.
If it makes you feel
Yeah,
better,
yeah,
usually
there's
the
gonna be
dudes make
normal
out with
people.
each other.
Yeah, there's
Well-
gonna be normal people making super bad decisions.
A lot of the
Which,
turbo
which,
nerds aren't
wow,
coming
that's a
this
real
year
turn on.
because this venue actually the internet. Well, there is no internet, and I'm told cell phone service is kind of shitty. So a lot of the turbo
Oh,
nerds probably
yes.
just can't handle it.
that's the
Last
beginning of
year,
every psycho killer movie.
Is there a
Last
level of
year,
nerd in
we
between?
had a
Mrs.
guy-
McGurk
Turbo
is so
nerd?
gonna be at the fucking casino.
We had a guy come last year, and all he did is sit in the barn and actually play Eve on a laptop. Like he's surrounded by other Eve players, and he's
Was
not
he in FC?
talking. No, it actually gets worse.
He was mining.
He was high sec mining.
Oh, that is
What the
serious.
fuck?
That
I
is like the
talked to
capital
him,
of
and he
Nerd
was like,
City.
"Yeah, I'm new to Eve and just saw that there was a meetup going on, so I thought I'd come." And I was like, "That's great, but you paid, like $60-something to come here, and you're just sitting there playing Eve." I'm not
Yeah,
quite
you
sure.
must have thought it
He
was like a
didn't
LAN
do
party.
anything. He didn't partake in any of the events, as far as I know. He didn't win prizes or do anything. The guy just sat in mined in high sec. He did get ganked once. I remember him getting really upset because I think
The
Code got
spice
him.
must flow.
Wait, what is that? Just do what I do and hold hands. How do you hold hands during oral? What?
Well, it is possible. I mean, it's
See,
physically
we're
possible.
talking about banging people. So I
Well,
said
number
just
one, if
don't
you're
bang
good,
them,
your
just hold
hands aren't
hands.
your hands are free anyways. But
Yeah, yeah.
Wait,
Oh
what?
my, you guys took that the wrong way.
Well, I mean, sometimes. Yeah, I won't. I won't.
Look, I mean, even if you're real good at oral, the balls get lonely, so you stop putting for your hands.
No, I wasn't talking about oral. I said
Jesus
just hold
Christ.
people's hands, not fucking suck their dick.
Oh,
Jesus.
okay. Well, that's what she was talking about.
I know,
Oh.
so I said don't worry about it. Just hold hands if you're bad at oral.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
But anyways, we were about to move on to a different subject, before when I wanted to wrap up, that people should go to evenortheast.com and sign up and come to this because it will actually be a fun event. So what was that subject? Because I completely lost it at this point.
The Citadel patch.
The Citadel
There's
expansion?
A lot of, yeah,
from
expansion.
May?
The whole thing since the start of May till now. It is a mess. I don't know if you guys have seen some of the things that's been going on with that, but it is a mess. Like people are going.
Well, let's talk
apeshit about
details
a lot
then.
of it.
What-
All right, so we'll get details.
What is
all
it?
right?
You-
So
What is it that you
very
find
first
to
one I want to
be?
bring out the fax machine and vulnerability bumping. You may have heard about it on Reddit. There was a big thread about how it's not a problem or it is a problem. But what basically you do is you take 4 fax machines, line them up on the undock in a nice straight line, and then as you undock, your hitbox will hit the fax machine, break your invuln, and bounce you before you can insta warp. It's like an instant.
Wait a minute, hold on.
undock.
Time out. It will break the invuln
So, like,
that you
right,
have
right,
before you
so-
touch anything.
If you undock right now from a station and warp to an instant aligned point with nothing in your way, you'll instantly warp. But that that one tick that you're about to enter warp breaks your invuln on a fax machine, rather than let you warp.
If while
you'll
you
bounce.
are still in the middle of the line of fax machines, you
right.
commit an act, it will then sense the fact that you are actually inside of another thing, and you
And
will
it'll
get
bounce you.
bumped.
Right, and you'll get killed. And at least half the deaths in Saradan on the undock when those fax machines are there are because of the bumping. And if you try to let it go past it, you end up getting out of dock range, and you get killed because you're 10 seconds.
But
is
if
up,
you
right?
initiate an action,
If you initiate the
while you
warp,
are
the action, yeah,
inside,
you're bumped. You're bumped.
while you are kind of like floating through another ship, would you not expect that it would take into account the
Well,
physics of that?
No, because no ships in the game do it right now except for fax machines. CCP knew about this apparently
that's
2 months ago.
If that's what you're
during
saying, that's
testing.
a different story. But
They knew about it 2 months ago during testing. Like a couple other bugs that have been happening lately. They knew about this stuff, but they said, "Oh, no one's going to abuse it. We're not worried about it." Until Saradan happens, and now everyone's using it because they realize how bad it is. We've started telling people to petition it, right? People are petitioning, getting reimbursed, depending on the GM you get, of course. But people are getting reimbursed as it happens. But you're bouncing off these fax machines. And so my question is why is CCP? They've been doing this with this whole patch. Why are they releasing something in this patch if it's not going to work? Right? There's a lot of things that are little buggy things. Like someone's been complaining recently about.
I think every game releases stuff out there that
right,
they didn't
you have,
quite
like,
realize
Citadel
worked the way it
bombs.
did. Or
Citadel bombs aren't supposed to hit as hard as they are, and they're hitting small ships like really, really easily. People have been trying to do Confessor fleets versus Citadels and realizing that the bombs just blow them up because they think they're hitting too hard. Or you have like a fighter group from a carrier that can alpha a frigate with like 10 sig, right? It just blows it up. It doesn't matter how much HP it has. Things like that. There's little tiny things that you don't notice on a small scale, but on a large scale, it's like, holy fuck. You're watching this happen. So the question is like, where does CCP go if they keep doing this where they're like trying to catch up to themselves, right? They release this big patch, this big release, but then they spend the next 3 months trying to catch up with all the bugs that they could have fixed that they knew about. They just didn't really care to fix before they
well,
released
hold on. Are you saying that they? And again, this thing with the fax machines, it sounds like a physics issue. Now, I don't know that it's related only to fax machines, although they are the fatties that you see that get. I mean, we all know that fax machines are big fatties. When it comes to like at least what they look like on the screen, compared to carriers, right? I don't know that this is caused simply because of what they visually look like, or that it's only left up to them. But quality assurance issues, QA issues, are something that I don't think is any different for CCP than it is for a whole lot of different games out there. If they're not caught by CCP, or in the case of CCP in terms of mass testing, then they don't know it's an issue until they've actually released it.
So here we go. Here's someone just brought up in chat. Put your newbies in Griffins. Have them deal with it. So we tested this this week. We took a Cormorant fleet, warped to Station 100, had Griffins with it. Before the Griffins could even lock the fighters, because of how far away they were, they started at 100K. The fighters, they travel at 16K a second, were on top of the Griffins and alphaed them before the Griffins could even lock the motherfuckers. They had to travel 100 kilometers, right? So people have been saying, a lot of people from PL, and Axel kind of brings this up, maybe even Graf can point this out. Manny's been hitting it really hard on the whole, well, you can E-war them, or you can do this, or you can do that, so it's balanced, right? But I don't think it is. I think there's a lot of things that they need to work on that they probably should have held this patch off, right? Held this off for a month or two, fix the problems they had reported, and then go forward right there. Because like the new Doomsday, they knew that shit was broken, and they had to declare it an exploit a week into the patch release after people had already done the shit a bunch, you know? So why not fix it?
Here's a question, though, in all seriousness. I would love to be able to sit there and blame some of this stuff on let's say, a quality assurance issue. All right, that it's not working as intended. But isn't the best way to ensure that something doesn't get blown up on an undock to control the undock?
Sure, but here's my question, right? So say you control the undock, and the guy's got, like, you see 4 or 5 tornadoes, right? And you undock a couple of fax machines, and as the fleet goes to undock, the tornadoes are at 200K, right? You can't really control those tornadoes as you're undocking a fleet. And you're bouncing off a fax machine, like you warp your fleet to an instant undock, like you undock fleet warp. Some of those guys are going to bounce. The guys that bounce, going to get blown up because they're in the fleet warp. It won't let them dock. That fraction of a second, or those 2 seconds, they get locked by the tornadoes, they're dead, right? So you can only control it so much. We've seen that with Loki's. I mean, even if it was reversed, like someone brought this up on the Meta Show this week. What happens if you reverse the narrative? It's goons camping PL. You know, you could write the story both ways. And what would happen in that case? You'd have people in a fury right now. There was an interesting thread this week about carriers, how carriers are balanced, and you just need to learn to deal with it, right? But I don't think it's that simple.
I don't know, man. We wouldn't let, like, I mean, honestly, if you somehow flipped it around and just camped our shit, we'd all just jump clone somewhere else and go.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like, you would leave, right?
So we just roll out, like, yeah. But to me, it's easy. Like, did you know a single EC300 can jam an entire squadron of fighters boat? Like, did you know that's a thing? And it's not even a thing that you have to try or try hard on.
We tried it for NC-Dot. NC-Dot they undocked 4 or 5 carriers, right? And they had them their fighters sitting right there on the undock. I warped in a Cormorant fleet at 100, and they zoomed the fighters.
They are
fast,
no doubt.
Landed on top of us as we landed, right? We were coming out of warp. The fighters are already on top of us from 100K away by the time we're out of warp. And then they shot, and then they MWD'd away again, right? So you can't even shoot them. And because, that's another thing, the invulnerability. Have you heard about the new the fighter invulnerability? Someone did a test.
Superior fighters.
Right, I think it was Moa sending the Alliance mail going, this is ridiculous. We cannot kill fighters fast enough in our anti-fighter ships because we have 40 or 50 of them.
First of all, let's be realistic. First of all, that's Moa, and Moa is,
yeah, right.
You know, they eat lead paint, no big deal. You can do it. We've tested it. Like, it's not even that hard. Like, this is I would say this is the thing we probably spent the most time playing with since the release of these changes or whatever, because carriers are no longer like a thing that you can just like not pay attention. You can't, like, you're not going to do a subcap alt and a carrier alt. Your carrier takes too much micromanagement. It is essentially one small ship for each squadron that you have to control and give orders to effectively use it, and then your actual carrier itself. And you have to be super on point on managing like fighter attrition and shit like that, and reloading and relaunching them and stuff like that. To actually be a good carrier pilot takes mechanical button pushing skill at this point, whereas before it was just like launch drones, pay attention to the other client, and fucking hope. You know, like, it's not like that anymore. But there are, like, fighters are. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say most people that are going to attack you with fighters are stupid. A fighter, a damaging fighter from a Thanatos or actually from a Nidhogger, I don't know about a Thani, but from a Nidhogger, a damaging fighter can microwarp drive about 140 kilometers in a single cycle. So if you know that, and you really want to do damage to fighters, you would warp in at 150. The fighters can't warp over to you; they're actually going to drive, and that'd give you 10 kilometers to extra to blap at them and stuff like that. Like knowing the mechanics of the fighter helps you fight the fighter, but no
Sure,
one's
if you want to fight the
taking
fighter,
any
right?
time. Right,
But
well, you have to.
The problem
Like,
right now is that you're having situations where people are fighting subcaps for subcaps, and the fighter just happens to be the extra bit, right? Because
For
you're
sure.
sitting over by a citadel, you're tethered, and then you're moving your fighters around 1,000 kilometers away. So like you're in a
Well,
situation.
you're not
we had a
tethered. If
situation
your
yesterday.
fighters are out, you're definitely not
You,
tethered.
you warp into
can't tether
Corbrix
with
to
fighters.
kill the Sweeples. You're trying to kill the Sweeples that are 100k away. You can't kill the fighters that are on top of you. So that's where the issue's coming in. It's like you have to pick, right? So even in a big brawl, which we haven't seen this yet, have we, Dirk? A big brawl where you had fucking like 20 carriers and 20 carriers, and then two
No,
fleets of
nobody's
subcaps.
fought like that. As
I
far
don't
as
think
know.
that.
Like,
I don't think we've seen
Well,
it
no.
yet.
Nope.
It's gonna be
Snuff
discussed.
Red
You mean with
Snuff
20
Super
carriers
did
on each
that.
side?
Yeah, right. Like a big fleet of carriers, on each side, and then subcaps trying to be a part of that fight. I don't think it's happened yet, but I'm going to be very.
It'd be
interested
nice
to
because it'd
see
be
what
like
it
lots
does.
of losses on both sides. That's the one thing with the capital changes is like now you're not going to have one side that wins everything, and the other side loses everything. You're going to have there's going to be one side that wins the majority of the fight, but both sides are going to have losses if you have enough capitals on both sides.
Like there was a drastic change to carriers, but like I think it's balanced by the fact that you're not gonna do an apostle at the same time as you do a Nyx. You're not going to do an apostle at the same time as you do an archon. Or if you do, you will do both jobs really fucking shitty. So the whole I have 100-man PL subcap fleet and okay, everybody log on your supers. That's not really a thing anymore. Like I don't know how to tell anybody that, but it doesn't really work like that anymore because if that's what we did, either the subcaps or the supers would suffer extremely bad. However, a group that is dedicated to doing nothing but piloting their carrier, like as part of a subcap fleet, is extremely dangerous. You can defang a carrier way easier now. Like that is a legit thing. You can actually strip a Thanatos out in probably less than 5 minutes if you were dedicated at nothing but killing fighters. And he can't use any offensive E-War as long as his network sensor array is on. So you can always just fucking warp away. But if your entire goal is to defang a single carrier, like maybe 10 dudes or less can do it in under 5 minutes if the carrier is fucking stupid.
Well,
So
and
we tried
that's
this.
because you don't have like hundreds of sentries anymore in the carriers.
Sure.
You actually have to focus on the fighters itself.
Well,
Right,
you have
so-
a finite amount of
I think
fighters.
it was,
and once those are gone, like reshipping, like you're not going to be able to bring something in to give people more fighters. They take up too much space, and
Fighter
it's just not
haulers,
going to
Right,
happen.
but you can carry hundreds of them. Like there's-
Summer Shandy.
Yeah, but
can't
they
really
go down
carry- you
so
carry
fast,
about
bro.
100 with max skills. And
Hold
on.
on.
Some things you can get a little more than 100, but that's like fucking, basically you're talking about 9 squadrons that a carrier can carry. So it's basically like 9 drones. A carrier went from carrying, 1,000 drones to basically carrying, because a flight is pretty much a drone. One squadron is like a drone. Nobody recalls their fucking squadron or gets it back successfully once it comes under fire. Generally speaking, they are going to fucking die.
Well, no, that's
like-
the thing. We tried that, right? So I think it was Asher. Asher undocked a Caracal fleet recently. Lost 40 Caracals and only managed to kill like 20 fighter squadrons at most.
Well, somebody's killing our
And-
fucking fighters because we're
and-
losing them by
well-
the shit ton because it's one
Well,
of the
now
cells
we
we
have harpies,
replaced.
right? Harpies, man. Harpies do work, but the problem is you have to switch targets up so much. Like you can't just say, okay, everyone shoot this one, then shoot this one, then shoot this one. You have to say, all right, everyone pick a target because they don't die quick enough. Like it's the 1.5 second vulnerability. I think there was another post about that where the guy was getting like 1 damage point, 0, 1 damage point, and like a
Whoa.
string of zeros.
So, magic secret, air superiority fighters are not that big of a threat to subcaps. Those are not the things that are hurting you. The things
Right,
that are
they're
hurting
normal
you
fighters.
are like legit Templars or Einharjes or whatever. They have the missile that hurts. It hurts. It does actually hurt, but they have shit for hit points. And for every dash you take off of the fighter's circle, that missile does significantly less damage. So if you manage to take away 3 little dips of hit points, the fucking thing goes from like a great big volley down to like a volley that's like maybe half that, and then like it just gets worse and worse and worse. So like,
here's a question.
shooting air superiority fighters is dumb. Like they have that thing. All you gotta do is click a button, and all your resists go way up, and your speed goes way up, and your sig goes way down on the fighter, and it's almost impossible to kill it for about 10 seconds. It's a big DPS dump for 10 seconds. If I launch fighters and I launch 2 flights of air superiority fighters because I'm for some reason scared that you might bring a carrier, and 1 flight of damage fighters, and you waste any time shooting my air superiority fighters, you're facing 39,000 point volleys from that single damage fighter squadron every 7 seconds. So and so you're going to get at least 2 of those in, which are going to kill 2 subcaps while you're shooting my air superiority fighters that are no threat. They can't point you. Oh no, they could point you, but I mean, who gives a fuck?
Yeah,
really?
those can point things. Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Well,
mean, like,
so
you're
here-
pointed, so.
So we have Grath here, and we have a bunch of PL guys in the chat, and we have a bunch of Imperial
Come
guys.
on, that's not
But
fair. They've been here
here's
like
my
a
Can
fucking
we
week.
wait? Can we
Yeah.
do a shot for people who aren't PL or goons and don't really fly this game? Shit, thanks.
Wait, does that mean
All
I
right, if you
can't
and
take
I'm
a
just
shot
happy to see that
or-
Rain has
So-
got a
so
bottle
here's
of
my
motherfucking
question, though.
Tito's.
Oh, Rain has some Tito's.
What do you
She
feel?
does.
How do you feel, Grath, that like with the Saranin camp that's going on? Since we got you here, I'll ask you the controversial question. With the camp that's
Okay,
going
but
on
I get a
Saranin-
controversial
Are
question
you-
for you. after
Oh yeah,
we're
sure.
done.
But how do you feel about NC.PL doing like the heavy lifting of this camp? Like when you get a fight that's about to go down and like Darkness doesn't show up with 10 dudes and like Test comes with like 5 or 6 dudes. Like how does that feel? Like when you guys are dock 120, 130 guys,
Shot
it's
from
like,
our ship.
where the fuck the allies at, yo?
I mean, it's like, come on now. You've watched. We've attacked goons like fucking, over time, over history,
Oh yeah,
and it's
PL
usually our
been having
allies
fun.
that fail us in some way, shape, or form at some point during the war. So, like, them not being here and
Shot from
not being
Martian
around
cheap.
or whatever at first was not that big of a deal. Though then when we did complain, we're like, hey, you guys, you're all like chill and ratting and you love your new space and shit, right? But we're down here, pretty much by
Well,
ourselves.
that's what I mean. Like,
Facing
since they
what's left
moved
of a
in,
coalition that can form 600 dudes. I don't know if you heard, but PL can't really form 600 dudes. So maybe you might want to step on down and give us some fucking help every once in a while. They all responded pretty positively and showed the fuck up. Like, I don't know how they're doing, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, if we're losing all these fucking apostles, if we had left some of the people that have moved in here, I feel that their losses probably would have been significantly worse. So at least it was us. We can kind of like tank the damage, I guess you would say. So it's not that bad. And plus, I don't really give a fuck. I roam around in structure tank vindicators with Jeff and die in low sec, so it's not really that big of a deal to me.
I got chased around by high sec guys this week. I think it was last Friday. I tried to do a like a Bling Tengu. Someone linked me like an oversized AB Bling Tengu with high grade snakes, and I got chased by like 30 war decks. They chased me for about 30 jumps, just all around high sec till I knocked up.
At
And
least
then
you
they tried
made
to
it
camp
out.
me with well, then they tried to camp me with Max. Oh, they couldn't kill me. They I was going faster than their Raptor was, and I was AB'd, so he couldn't tackle me. And like the rest of them couldn't catch me, so I just killed the Raptor and warped off.
I had the worst high sec fight because of war targets because I had a kill rate on me that I forgot about. So all these neutrals joined in too. It was
Oh.
horrible.
Get wrecked.
I mean,
Yeah,
if
rip
we're honest,
Hyperion.
Boat, if we're honest, right? The goons have now put their argument for when they lose the war on roller skates, and y'all are moving that motherfucker around like a hooker on a fucking corner,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Like,
Elise.
so
It's
it's
like Elise
almost
lately, yo, dude.
impossible. At this point, the war is actually like we won. You guys don't have no space.
Right,
Like,
right.
it's been 6 fucking years. We kicked you out of your fucking space.
Oh
At
yeah,
this
we
point,
got
if we're
super
smart,
dumped. We
That
did.
kind of
it's-
segues
it's-
into something I
Right,
wanted.
It's time-
but you
which is-
can't
It's time,
you
kill
guys-
it's time
goons.
for us to go. Like, it's
But
time for us
what-
to go. Our part
are
of
you
this
gonna
is
rate it-
done.
Are you gonna rein in Elise though? I mean, come on now. His posting has been so bad lately.
Oh,
No,
that's
no,
my
no,
question.
talk about-
Easy. Even if he shit posted 24 hours a day for a week straight, he's got a lot of
He's got a lot
like,
of catching
room
up to
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
You got a lot of
Yeah.
karma.
doesn't he?
You got a lot of
Well,
karma.
8 years now, and he's
How-
just
how's
sat
the
there
man-
dealing with it.
How's
this-
the man who helped assemble the largest coalition the game's ever seen gonna be like coalitions not needed? I mean, what the kind of shit is that?
I mean, it's not. I mean, like in the grand scheme of things, like that's kind of how we have always operated. Like we go in, we do a
Right,
thing,
right,
and then
right.
we reset everybody when we're done. And if everybody else,
like,
else
you're-
is
Well,
like,
it-
down with that,
But
Like-
that's
like
one
what
of
you
the
said,
things
you have
about
to call
Eve, though,
in.
right? Is like it's not about what you say; it's about how it's perceived by the people out there, right? Like somebody can say the
By the
exact
Hmong horde.
opposite of what the reality is,
Right,
but
right.
if other people buy into it, that is their perceived reality. And
Well,
right
well,
now,
yeah,
the
yeah.
reality winning war is on like a guy like Elise who is going to throw out there, some shit, that whether it's true or not.
Wait, did he
Yeah.
shit post
And that's
it?
how
I didn't
Here-
see
propaganda
it.
here-
war.
here-
That's how all
best part-
propaganda wars get won.
Here's the thing, real quick. Now, I'm not jumping ship or anything, but like, here's the thing, like,
Why are you
I
jumping
know
ship,
a lot of
Drayden?
people-
You're not coming to
Yeah,
fucking.
what the hell, Drake?
no, I'm
Damn it,
not,
Drayden.
no, I'm not jumping ship. but
Waffles,
I'm
Drayden,
taking
waffles.
this point of view, which
I'll vouch in a waffles trade.
I heard you were going to
Here's the
test.
thing, though. Here's the thing, and I said that twice, so we'll probably have to do a shot for that. But I know everyone's ragged about giant coalitions are evil and all that stuff, but like honestly, is there any other way that the Imperium could have been kicked out of their space? There is no other way you could have evicted the Imperium other than making a bigger coalition than they had. That is the only viable option for them.
Oh, and by
Now, if they disband themselves at the end or not, that's to be seen. But there was no other way to have victory in this war other than to assemble all of Eve into one giant coalition to beat the Imperium. That was the only way that it could have been done. Other
yeah,
than
but
just
victory,
here's the
though.
question: Are they gonna be willing to do it again?
Dirk, what
it's
is
gonna
that?
like the
maybe.
Imperium's gonna reform. Like when all this is over and PL just says, "Okay, we resettle you guys. We're gonna go have fun now," right? The reformation of the Imperium is gonna happen. At least posted today that he doesn't think it's gonna happen, but I think it will.
Is
And
this
so
why
it's
the
gonna be
winning side
interesting.
is so angry? Everywhere I go, people are just like, if victory conditions are met and NBC wins, then why is it every NBC guy I run into is so mad about winning?
Yeah, that's
Huh?
Asher brought that up. Paul, drunk Canadian, right? Asher brought that
Is
up.
this like
recently.
is this like a you mad, bro? Like
No,
trying to
'cause,
be
like, Asher
serious
says
about
this.
it.
Well, no, like
No,
imagine,
man, like,
imagine
there's
if you
some
win a
serious
war.
hate out there.
Like if you win a war in real life, you go shake the other person's hand, you sign a little document that says you won the war, and then you tell them, "Okay, we won. This is what we get." Right?
Not
You don't see
necessarily.
that with this. You don't see that with this. You see,
No, it's like
okay,
the
we won
angriest
the war, we
victors
won
I've
the war,
ever
we won
seen.
the war. But fuck you, you're still assholes. Fuck you, we need to burn you out. But wait,
Yeah.
you're dead.
Well, it's like a
I mean,
hate
like, how's
fuck.
that work?
All right.
Right, but a hate fuck eventually ends, and you eventually kiss and make up. Like you
It
don't
will
see
end
that.
I think what
eventually,
he's saying
Anderson.
is even Japan got let go.
Right, yeah, you know.
What?
Yeah, but we
I don't know, it's just
apologized for
weird,
that,
like,
though, didn't we?
That
Dirk
is
and I talked
actually
about this.
That is actually a discussion. It's actually a discussion that Drunk Canadian and I had the other night, and it's a discussion that Matterall and I had. Regarding.
Oh, God, I bet Matterall did that fucking hip.
Well, hold on. Regarding an upcoming kind of like, non-intoxicated discussion that needs to happen regarding kind of an after-action report of this war and whether or not potentially, the NBC has overfished and whether or not, from the perspective of good for the game, is do you need a big adversary on the side, or do we want to fragment this into something where it's like there is still a big behemoth, but there is not kind of the binary offset to that?
Yeah,
have
I
they,
don't know.
Have they been overfished though? I mean, they're still forming
Well,
pretty good numbers from what I've seen, right?
Right. Here's the thing, though. Like, you look at Darkness. I'll use Darkness for example, because Darkness has a whole coalition of their own, like this little mini coalition of like 8 or 9 alliances. They haven't got over 100 people in the last week. It's like since they moved to Saturday, like they've been struggling to get dudes. And so when you think about it, it's like a group that's maybe 10 times less in size, and NC Dot can still have 100, 120 guys in Saturday. Those guys have like 30 or 40 at times, like at most. So it's kind of
but
like,
it's
wait a
like
minute,
you're like
how's this
formed
work?
to do what really? What are we forming for?
Yeah,
Like-
I heard that from a Darkness guy. I PM'd him. I was like, so what's wrong? And he goes, I'm going all the way up
See,
to Branch by gate.
My
And I'm
thing,
like, why
I
are you going 35
was gonna say,
jumps?
by the way.
Yeah, but you're not doing like that's
my
what I'm
thing
saying.
is
You
this,
guys aren't
Grant,
doing enough.
You've
to
been around a
warrant
while.
A response
like
at
to
this point.
I like to go back to what coalitions and shit was back when I first started playing in 07, where obviously the big one at the time up north was Razor and Morses Mihi. They had more of a defense pact, but if Razor wanted to go do something that benefited Morses Mihi, not at all, go do it. But we're not going to help you. Or if you were blue to them and you were getting attacked, they may or may not come help you. I mean, there wasn't really this, we will fucking come to your aid, zippity doo dah. It was more of a, we just don't want to get rolled. As long as we don't get rolled, we don't really care what the fuck happens too much.
I think
mean-
that's why. I think that's why NC.PL have their relationship, right? Like, because Vince is an asshole, and
Come on,
some
Vince
of the
is a
people
nice
in PL are assholes. But like, you combine the two, and it's like, holy mega assholes. Like Vince tends to. This is the longest I've seen Vince stay in one alliance, right? He's known for like just raging out and saying, "Fuck this shit, I'm done." It just disappeared for a while, right? So this is
Yeah,
the
but it's
longest I've
his. I
seen
mean, he
Vince
made
do
it,
it.
right?
Right. That's what I mean. Like, this is the longest I've seen him do it. And so it's very interesting to see, like, the way it's going now. Like, you have PL and NC out together and going to go do their own thing. But all these other guys, it's like, they're just like almost like hanger-ons. It's like PL, NC Dot, and a whole lot of pets. It's like you said, Razor and Morsis Mihi, and all of the other alliances that were involved. So that's always an interesting situation. But I mean, the Imperium's never had it that way. Like Initiative goes and does their own thing all the time.
I mean,
like,
I was
Initiative
just-
was fighting PL for a while.
I'm talking. Look at. I didn't mean Northern Coalition. Dot. Again, I'm talking about Northern Coalition, the original. That was Morsis Mihi and Razor, and the conglomeration of different little factions that took up the branch and the space up north. And again, you had them all over the place. You had the Russians kind of had their loose coalitions. The cool thing about those coalitions was they could go do their own thing. And maybe at the time it didn't really, maybe the other guys didn't agree with it, so they kind of stayed out of it or whatever. But, you know, it was more for home defense of anything.
Whoa, Ray just dropped a massive part in chat. Like, holy shit. Because you can look at test PL relations and how PL dropped all those caps on that test.
Yeah, yeah. I'd like to see Jeff Raider talk shit
PL is
about
not the
goons and
shiny
way
bastion
goons
of
treat
treating
people.
allies fairly.
And then look at the way fucking PL
Hold on.
treats
To
people.
be fair,
they
have
weren't
you
blue? They
heard
weren't
test
blue?
comms?
Bro, calm down.
Jesus.
Back
Yeah,
up.
I've heard
When we
test
dropped
comms.
on that, they weren't blue. We weren't working together. We actually offered to let them pay for passage through, and they were like, "Fuck you," and we were like, "Okay, fuck you too." Like that's if we're not blue, we don't help. That's it.
So-
if
No,
you're not
hold on,
blue,
you
you
don't
don't
one
fucking
second.
menu.
The
To try to
GSC.
sue me. To try to sue me. No, the game has changed. I mean, I'm just saying. There's a lot of things I wish we could totally fucking roll back. Like, please, dear God, can we have drone alloys back? I mean, if anything, please give us that back because that shit was awesome. But I mean, the game has changed. We've moved forward from some things, but then that's the problem is that you look at what we have now and you go, and it's. I'll tell you first, this game is in cycles. When they released the towers and the first mix ever to mechanics, which I'm sure everybody remembers the station, the tower spamming, right? Boat and Graph. And
Yeah,
you all
oh,
right
I missed those days.
yeah.
Watch
That
out,
lasted,
baby.
that lasted 5 years. Literally 5 years later, they came out with Dominion. That lasted literally 5 years. 5 years later, they came out with FozzieSoft. I mean, this game works in cycles. And the thing is, this is every time. Now, you may not like FozzieSoft, but when you look at it, just like with Dominion, they tried to give the players what they wanted, and that's the thing too. Is when they do that, as we said, I think Dirk said last week, is CCP does stuff, and maybe they don't quite look forward to see what are some major changes that could. I think they do to some extent, but maybe not enough. But again, look at
There's
our
a
player base
number of
today.
things that we can
Look at our
pick
player
out.
base today that you ask them, what do you want, and then give it to them. Who knows if you're winning the game, and that's kind of where the new.
There's a
Good
number
guys
of things
always
that we
win.
can
That's a
pick
great way
out
to think
regarding
about
the
it.
current sovereignty system, the changes that CCP has made. None of which do I think apply to this war. We can sit there and we can talk about
No,
some
we're
of
not
these
talking.
things.
You left. You didn't even know what
I'm
we were
sorry.
talking about. I was just saying
Well,
that.
I was just going
the game
based on
has-
what it was you said for
No,
the
no,
last
the game has
minute.
changed,
Games
and
go in
I'm saying that
cycles.
it has progressed and it moves in cycles, and it's tended to be about a 5-year cycle as far as nullsec and sovereignty changes. So I mean, again, so I was just answering the person in the chat who said the game has changed. Yes, I know, and I'm not saying we have to go back.
Someone asks, why do I hate FCON? Because FCON are fucking douchebags. You tell FCON, hey, don't go to branch, you're gonna die there. Nah, we'll be fine.
Which
Loses a Ragnarok
segues
in
nicely
Shroud.
into Jeff's question, bro. Jeff would
Sure.
like to know why it is that people you are friends with, and anybody who has ever been friends with you, as soon as they leave your particular little group of people, you guys seem unable to keep them as friends. And people that you hung out with for, 5,
Well,
6, 7
alright, so
years, let me finish.
I can answer.
Suddenly
I can answer that.
become actual assholes the second they're out the door. Like there hasn't ever been
There-
a group that's left the Imperium that you guys are like, y'all are cool, that's cool. Everybody that leaves is like, man, fuck them, they were assholes and blur 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 blur
Right.
blur blur blur.
I can answer that. Here we go. It's the same way with PL and the same way with NC.
No, absolutely not.
Right
I have
on.
dudes from my corp
And-
shooting
hold
my
on.
dudes right now today.
I'll go it like this. So you deal with people on a political level, like especially in my case, right? I have to be nice sometimes, but a lot of times I'm very honest and an asshole. Look at Ray, like having a lot of fun back there. I don't know if she's drunk or not.
So
but
one
she's-
might
she's
say
having
you're a
blast.
douche.
But
Listening
but
to fucking
I'll
PL
become an
try to
asshole
preach
again,
is
right?
how I have to drink.
Right here, I'll be an asshole, right? And so say FCON, they pissed me off one day. they're blue to me. I want to just fucking scream. Like Mr. V used to be like this. He would have to be asked to like leave a channel or hold his tongue because he would just want to scream at them. But it's not politically okay to like chew out an ally at the moment, right? So you hold your tongue and don't say anything. And you don't say anything and you don't say anything. And then 5 years down the road, that ally goes, yeah, fuck you, we're gonna go join Try. And then everyone just finally lets loose all of this like built up rage that they've been asked not to speak out with, right? Because there are people at FCON I love. Like there's a couple of guys at FCON that I wish would have stayed. And they went with FCON because that's their corp or their alliance, whatever. That's cool. But it's an individual thing. You can't look at a whole alliance. Like a lot of people look at it and go, well, everyone looks at FCON and goes, fuck FCON. Everyone looks at Goons from FCON and goes, fuck Goons. But if FCON itself hated Goons so much, 5 of their biggest corps wouldn't have went up and joined Goons, right? Like that would have never happened. It's the same as like you get guys in PL. This used to happen way in the past. Maybe you remember this. I don't know if Jeff Raider does. I think Jeff Raider's too new, but
you talking to Jet.
Well, Jeff Raider's here. Look,
used to
Jeff
have
Raider's
this
only
thing
been
back in the
playing
day.
for the last year and a half. So I mean,
Right.
you know.
You used to have this thing back in the day in PL where a guy would rob PL.
Sorry,
And
Jeff,
then,
I'm just joking.
A month later, he would realize that he didn't want to leave PL. Like he wanted to come home, and so he'd bring back like half the shit he stole because the other half's gone, and then get back into PL. And PL would be like, "Yeah, fuck you, you robbed us. Fuck you, go away. Like never come back." I remember
Look,
Seamus used to talk about
How
this.
about this? Let's just make
And
it
it happens
simple.
everywhere. I think it does.
When the
I
guy,
think
when the
people-
guitarist leaves the band and takes all the equipment, yeah, you used to be bros, but now fuck that guy.
Yeah, right. And that's the way it is with a lot of alliances. Like the CFCs or the Imperium now, the CFC now would be, I guess, like testing them. But the Imperium, the way you look at it, it's like they're under a microscope, right? If one guy says something in a private channel because he's angry to some of his friends in a private channel and it gets leaked because there's a spy in there, right? You would have never seen that otherwise. Like I bet you back in the day, I used to hang out with V, Blue something, Blue Majir, and a bunch of other guys who used to play a game called Han, and they would say some shit like back then that was fucking like I'd roll out of my chair laughing. Right, you get like Fozzie used to be mocked by these guys because he'd have these like grand ideas for things before he was a dev, and these guys would just mock him for it.
Fozzie was never mocked, dude. Are you insane?
Oh,
he knew
all right,
everything
all right,
about. He was one of our main fitters, bro.
Okay,
like this.
inside PL, maybe not, but like
Wait,
this
are you
private
just talking
group-
about Blue Majir? Because that dude never stops running
No,
his
I
cock
love
garage.
Blue Majir.
Fozzie
All
All right,
used
so
to be named
Jeff Raider
Raby.
puts it clear to cut.
But-
Wow.
but
He
like
gets
that.
where you're going, but Jeff Raider said I get where you're going. But how about this? Then why do you hate FCON?
Why did I hate that?
Fuck it, Raider. I gave you a
I'll
goddamn
be right up
connection
with
to
it.
this show.
I haven't said this openly. I'll say this right now. I was pissed at FCON because they had this one douchebag FC who thought he knew better. And he goes, I'm taking all of FCON caps and going to branch. And he takes his Ragnarok and goes, and we're like, dude, you got to stay with us in Saturday because you're going to fucking die there. En route, he dies there. He like loses his Ragnarok, right? Then he goes, oh, we're fine. We'll be able to defend this with our 800 dudes. At the time that he was saying that, the NBC guys, CO2 had just flipped, had formed 3,600 people, right? And that was before CO2. So it's like, FCON's like, oh, we'll be fine there. And we're like, dude, you're in branch. How the fuck are you going to get out of branch through Venal, through Pureblind, and into Lowsec if shit goes bad? Like, you ain't getting the fuck out of here. You need to come back here. And he's like, no, we're fine, dude. We got this. And they're like, well, we'll keep retreating into branch, which is why they tried to go up through Northern Decklet. It kept getting farmed. You all remember that one pipe system? I think Graf might remember this. You getting all them cap kills? Lucky ass motherfucker. I wish I could have joined you. Like, there are so many times, like, ask Mr. V this. Mr. V has been around a long time. There are so many times that Mr. V would want to, like, grab FCON and just fucking strangle them.
All right, well, that
But
no,
he
we
just
got,
never
we
did,
got
yo.
just shy
Oh,
of 15
sorry.
minutes left. It is that
Game
time.
of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones time.
So
Spoiler
this
time.
episode wasn't really anything. It was just
It was a
preparation for
move
the
along
next
episode, but there was some big, even though it wasn't like full of action, there were some big moments in it though.
I mean, like, oh, cool, Daenerys found her dragon. Like, who cares? Like, it's
No,
just
no, no,
building
it
up.
wasn't even Daenerys finding a dragon. That was kind of expected that was going to happen at some point. I think some of the biggest moves was, I think the biggest one of the episode was Arya basically saying, fuck
Oh,
this
yeah.
faceless assassin shit. I am not a girl. I am Arya Stark. And I'm going to take the training I've learned through this and go and do my own agenda. Now she has to worry about the other wench chick assassinating her, but she knows it's coming. So I think there's going to obviously be a fight. And even George R.R. Martin loving to kill people off, I highly doubt he's going to kill Arya off this way. So I think she's going to kill Super Dick Bitch
He
is
can't
what I
kill
call
Arya
her.
because his wife loves Arya, and she says she'll like divorce him if he does.
But
Nah,
here's the thing.
Arya's dead. I'm sorry. That bitch made a fuck. She fucked up. Like,
No,
why
no,
the
She did,
fuck
but
are you
she's
gonna
no,
stay
I
with
don't
that
think
bitch?
she
girl's
did.
still
I
in
think
train,
she's
she's
gonna win this.
kick her ass.
But
You're
here's
gonna
the
get
thing.
your head
I think
chopped off, right?
I think it's a
She's
new
dead.
test. I think it's a test because Arya and this other girl, I think, are the two initiates, and it's kind of like a Highlander thing. There can only be one, and so I
Exactly.
think that when Jarek sends this other chick to go kill her, it's going to be a final face-off, and whoever wins this battle is going like. I think when Arya but I'm going to say when Arya kills this chick,
Nah.
the Jarek guy is going to be like, now do you want to be a faceless person? And I don't know if Arya's going to say yes or no because she
All
wants
right,
to
here
keep
we
her
go.
personality. But
Episode 13 or whatever the last episode is. Arya gets killed.
13, holy,
Done.
I don't
She's
even.
dead. Whatever the last
Episode
episode will
7
be.
and 8.
It's like
Whatever
episode
the last
6.
episode will be. No, when we get to that point, I'm saying
Oh,
this is
10,
gonna happen.
probably. It's
The
always
final
been 10.
episode of the show, Arya's done this season. Boom, dead.
I
No,
will
no,
be
no,
super sad if that happens because
Either she's gonna
Tyrion's
be
my number
killed
1, Arya's my number
or-
2. If Arya
Either
dies,
she's dead or
fuck that show,
Sansa.
but I'll still watch it.
No,
One of the
Sansa
two.
can't
My
die.
thing-
Sansa's
Sansa or
okay.
Arya, one of the two's dead.
All right, so my thing for this episode that I thought was kind of bullshit was little punk bitch King taking the bitch way out and being like, "Oh yeah, well, we're buddy with these Sparrow bitches."
Oh my
Instead of-
god.
Oh, fuck him.
I think
You know what,
Marjorie's
though?
faking.
That
I
Sparrow's
100%
playing the
Marjorie's
Pope.
faking.
That
He should
motherfucker's
have just,
gonna be
you
the
know what?
throne
You know what
man.
he should have done? He should have stood on the steps and been like, "Now that I think about it, fuck you, Sparrow," and stabbed him in the neck.
Right.
And then gone to war. Because it's
The,
like,
oh, that the funny thing was like I love the look because Marjorie's putting on a show. She was doing this to help her
Oh
brother.
yeah.
She is not doing this out of genuine. But she shots. She did honestly convert Tommen though because Tommen's an impressionable little bitch.
Solomon's a bitch. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
in the books he's like
he
10,
is a-
so
Yeah, no,
so...
he's so impressionable, but like Marjorie's putting on a show, but
Jerk,
she's
we
like,
can't
I'm
hear
gonna
you.
convert Tommen. He will be
Jerk is
really
free to
truly
push
converted, but
stop.
it's gonna get me out of this mess. And so that's what she was doing. When her dad and her mom show up with the army, the look on her face is like, "Fuck! I didn't have to do this. I didn't have to. Now everything's all
Right.
But she's
I'm
like, I
sorry.
gotta hold my composure. I'll figure it out later. But you know that she's like, damn. I guess I could have just like done this without the whole
the other thing
side
too,
thing.
I think is going to be a big thing. Maybe it's the long lost uncle's back.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Benjen?
th-
Well,
yeah.
they're...
Benjen.
I don't like that storyline.
Oh no,
That
no,
bores
no.
me.
Well, Benjen. I thought you meant the Blackfish. That was another thing that
oh, well, the Blackfish
because
has always been around.
Blackfish escaped, but when Littlefinger went to Sansa a couple episodes ago and was like, the Blackfish has rallied and got the Tully army back under his banner and retook Riverrun. I thought that was a load of crap. Because everything Littlefinger says is a fucking lie. And I was like,
Littlefinger's a
don't
bitch
believe him,
this-
Sansa.
right
and
now.
you even had the foreshadowing of like Brienne of Tarth like telling Sansa like, do we know this? We should send a Raven. And Sansa's like, no. Ramsay will just intercept it. We'll just believe it. I'm like, this is gonna go bad. Like Blackfish is still in missing. He doesn't have an army. But then this episode confirmed it. He did take Riverrun back because Walder
Yeah,
Frey
he
was
would.
yelling at his kids about it.
Yeah, I mean, well, because River runs his family's thing, so like that's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
why
Well,
they
that's
need
her
Sansa
uncle.
for the North. So all he has to do is escape and reunite everyone.
Yeah, so I mean, at that point, I was like, wow, okay, so Blackfish is back with an army and did take Riverrun back. So
But-
maybe
And you kind of
Jon
shrug,
and Sansa will have another army benefit to them.
you kind of shrug off the whole dragon thing. I think the dragon thing is a really kind of a key thing because, okay, look, yes, she came out of that fucking place, all magnificent glory, didn't die, so they followed her. But you can already tell that they were starting to get a little. Are they going to follow her all the way to the ends of the earth? And she's like, hold on. I am now, look at this. Look what I got. Are you going to question me with this big fucking thing I'm on? And they're like, no. We totally will do whatever you want. So I mean, I think the dragon makes a big deal. I'd have rather, and I was hoping it was going to be the whole family so she could just be like, what now, bitches? Look at this.
The
Well, I
dragon thing at the end, I think, was just as good. Well, actually, not quite as good as her in the flames the week before that. when she's like, look at me, I can't be unburnt too. All right. But when she got up there and she's like, look, bitches, I got a dragon. I got some questions to ask you. Are you with me? No, really. Are you with me? Because I got a motherfucking dragon.
Exactly.
Well,
That
here's the
kind of
thing,
put
it's
them
not
on the spot, right? It put them on the spot of, well, shit, yeah, we're with you because there's a dragon right in our goddamn face who's about ready to face blast us.
Exactly.
Well, it's not just the like. I don't think her getting the dragon back was the main point of that scene. I think it was mainly the point of her really getting the Kalasar behind her. Not
yeah.
just because she defeated all the other calls,
Which is a
and
big
showed
deal,
her
right? Because
dominance.
right
I'm
now-
not only unburnt, but by the way,
Yeah,
this
like,
big
she's-
scaly bitch can
because-
shoot
because you know what,
flames
right
out
now-
of
hold
his
on,
mouth
it's
at
not-
you.
hold on, it's not even the dragon.
Right
It's
now,
not- it's
the
not-
thing that is the reason why it's important is there's a army, there's a fleet of boats on their way right now from the Iron Isles. They're going
Is it big enough though? 'Cause they didn't need they said
Actually,
they need
no, there's
1,000
not.
ships. She doesn't have. Yara
She-
doesn't
no,
need
it's-
1,000
dude.
ships.
They don't matter because they
Yeah.
know how to build boats. They'll
She
build
has a
boats.
bunch.
Maybe,
She
but
got
here's the
boats,
thing.
though.
It wasn't that she had a dragon or that she defeated the other calls to show dominance. That got the Kalasar behind her, but it was the fact, like, because they have like their traditions and their whole I can't even think of the word. Traditions, we'll just call it traditions. But she's like the whole Blood Rider thing. That's a very important thing in their culture. That's what I was looking for. That's a big thing in their culture. She was like, I'm not going to choose a couple singular of you for Blood Riders. I'm going to say all of you are my Blood Riders.
She's
plus
going to say the
tradition.
community. She's going to use
basically
the
saying you're
community
all
term to bring them all in.
Every single last one of you is just important to me as a Blood Rider. And that got all of them hyped up and behind her. So now they're not just behind her because she's the most powerful person that they're around and they follow that. They're behind her because they honestly like her and want to follow her. And so there's a big morale bonus behind that. And that was bigger than just her getting her dragon back.
And she has a dragon.
Because
Dragoon,
that Kalasar
yeah.
army is better. Like, the dragon's super powerful, but that Kalasar army of hundreds of thousands of Kalasar guys or Dothraki is way more powerful than just that one dragon.
I know that
Well, it's gonna-
we typically spend the majority of time on Game of Thrones, in terms of TV time. But I am just going to say this: for those of you out there who are watchers of oh shit, now I forgot the fucking name of the show, The Machine. Person of Interest. Okay, Person of Interest. This is their last fucking season. Holy shit, BC. Please tell me that you have taken the time while laying in bed tonight to watch the most recent episodes of Person of Interest.
Dude, I'm always up to
I
date on
haven't.
TV. You're the one that's never up to date.
I know, that is true. That is true. That show right there is going off the fucking hook. Holy shit, we've lost 2 people, and there's only 3 episodes left to go. And this is what's great about artificial intelligence is it's going to fuck it up for all of us. We all know that, but we find it enjoyable on television.
Yep. But no, Person of Interest I watch. Powers is back on for the 2nd season. It's actually a show that's put out by PlayStation. It's actually pretty cool. There's a new show. I forgot what was it. What was it called? Containment, which is like fucking literally like watching a movie version of the new Tom Clancy game. And then there's the one. What was that one we watched the first episode? Dirk, did you finally watch it? With the first 30 seconds, you're like, what the fuck? With the kid, and then he starts eating his own hand, and you can see all the like bones and shit as he's eating it.
Oh, no,
He
I'm
ate
not
the roach off
remembering
the
that.
wall. He headbutted that cockroach and then ate it.
Why would
Yes.
he headbutt it and then eat it instead of just eating it?
Oh my god! And then he's downstairs and he like bites his finger. He's like, "Ow!" And then goes, "Well, that's felt good." And he eats his finger, and you can like see all the little shit inside of his bone and stuff. I was like, "Oh my god!"
But Person of Interest is one of those shows that's like I'm gonna be really disappointed to like see go away. But you know what? While I'm sitting there watching some of these other shows, I'm seeing adverts. This is what I love about TV nowadays. It's like it used to be that from like September to May, that was the TV season. But right now, it's all fucking season long. It's all year long.
I think the only show right now that I'm still waiting for is Ballers.
No, we've got that. Oh my god, that Muslim show. Shit,
Oh, Tyrant. Yes.
Tyrant. Oh my god, Tyrant. Fucking love
July
Tyrant.
9th or something.
Number one, if you don't watch Tyrant normally, you should go watch Tyrant. Like, get the lead up to the seasons and shit. That that is good stuff. We've got Killjoys and The Expanse that are going to be coming out in, I believe,
Expanse, yeah.
July.
I couldn't
Most people are all bought into The Expanse, but quite honestly, that's kind of a slow-moving story. Killjoys is more of the exciting week-to-week type version.
Did you hear they're getting Jake Gyllenhaal?
Shut up, Lieutenant Dan Extreme. I'm not drunk. Well, I'm inebriated.
Hey, Dirk,
but
did you hear they're getting Jake Gyllenhaal to do the Division
Is,
movie?
is Rain okay, or did her screen?
Oh my God, Jake
I'm right
Gyllenhaal.
here.
You didn't see that today?
Is he gonna
Yeah,
shave
just
his
a couple
head?
minutes.
Is he gonna shave his head? Is he gonna go all fucking
Mm.
grunt
I don't know,
up in
but
that?
That's like the
Since
big
we're
star
talking
they
about-
have.
Since
Well-
we're talking about celebrities, I got a question for you guys. What do you guys?
I'm
think
shaving my head
about,
for Eve Northeast, just by the way.
The X-Men series of movies. What about Dolph Lundgren playing Cabal?
I don't keep up with enough X-Men shit. I'm not an X-Men guy.
What
Uh,
X-Men?